Hey, all right. What's up, everybody? Saturday night. Welcome to the pub. Um, I hope everyone is doing well tonight. Let's put that aside. Keep that handy. The ashtray. Oh, I didn't grab any beers. Shit, I'm gonna run over, but you'll be able to see me the whole time. We're still on. We're still live. I'm still here on camera. All right. Get your fucking beer out. All right. Yep. Okay. The refrigerator is pretty much all beer. We have maybe a dozen eggs and probably, I don't know, 45 beers. Hey, look who it is. Last Dance and Biscuit. What's going on, guys? Thanks for being here. As always, it's Saturday night. Well, that's a little too much garage. Right there is about how I like it. Get a little bit of some drawings up there, and Elmo almost partying down. Hope everyone had a good week. It was a good week for me, I suppose. Ended with a lot of work on Friday, but we achieved what we intended to on Friday by the end of the day. So that means the next step in our project will be ready on Monday. It's always good to complete one step and then move on to the next. It sucks when you don't finish something on a Friday and you have to continue the task on Monday, thereby holding up your next step in a particular project. So as anyone knows who's done anything multi-day stuff for anything, you try to set goals. We're staying on it. Hi, Sammy Cat. How you doing? Hope you're feeling all right. Feeling well. Ooh, yeah. All right, we're on the Bacardi 8 year. It's my last bottle they have at my little liquor store. I don't think anybody has bought these things, and they've been on the shelf. They're dusty, so they're definitely a little extra aging on these babies. And they're priced from about 4 years ago. I think the price tags haven't been changed since they were put on the shelf. So it was a good run. I'm sure once I have asked them to order more, they're going to up the price by $4 or $5, but I'll still go to them. They're good people. Oh, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say to that. Do you search out the best price in town for things, or do you, if you have a beer store or whatever store, a particular, say, place that you like to frequent that's definitely not the cheapest, but you go there because you want to be a good customer? That's how I've always been. I like the owners. I could probably save some money if I went to another couple of places, but I'm loyal. I give my business to the people I like. You just go to the closest place, right? I hear you. I have a bit of a small town vibe here, even though it's a big town in a fairly populated area. But we still have a little small town section feel, so you get to know people. And they're not the closest, but they're pretty damn close. Morrison's, okay. Unreliable. Sons of bitches. Yeah, I've never gotten anything delivered besides hot food like pizza, Chinese food, pizza and Chinese food, subs. I don't know. Never had anything else. Of course, everything from Amazon that you can imagine we order. Fucking everything. It's too easy sometimes, but it's also very convenient. And we're going our Outer Banks trip is coming up here, people. So that's going to be cool. A couple weeks we're heading down there. So there you go. I do the Twitch thing on Saturday because our brother Random Goon is not streaming. So if I ever do the pub on Fridays, you'll know that I'm only on YouTube because I wouldn't want to step on homeboy's toes, of course. Random Goon had a great stream last night. It is Biscuit Vapes. I mean, I was looking on Cabela's for a fishing rod holder, and the website is glitchy. It's freezing up a little bit. It's taken more than 5 seconds to load a screen, and then you go to Amazon and the thing is so slick. You find what you want. Prices, I will say this. Cabela's was $89, Amazon was $92, same exact product, but I can't deal with fucking glitchy websites. And then not to mention with one-click ordering on Amazon, it's it takes the cake. Sorry, Cabela's. Cabela's is definitely a sportsman store, and I'm going to find better products. But when you find the same exact thing on Amazon, and it's boom, 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 done, buy now, click, coming Tuesday, you're like, all right, it's hard to, free shipping if you have Prime, which of course we do. Still haven't figured out the Thursday night football thing with Amazon Prime. But I haven't tried. And frankly, I just have it on the side here on my phone, and I'll check out, if it's a decent game. Yeah, we got something the same day, dude. I ordered some headphones from my kid, and literally that same day they were here, and I threw the damn box up the stairs, thinking, oh, this is just, I don't know, whatever, some chick thing, and there was the headphones. So yeah, I guess maybe some technology stuff, some really popular type shit like the cordless headphones, Bluetooth headphones, whatever you call them. Probably they sell so many of them, they keep them in more of the warehouses. So that must have been in the closest warehouse of wherever that is. I don't know, probably 25 miles away. Wait, what's this? I'm missing something. Okay. Good. I missed that part. I'm glad to hear you're on the mend, sweetheart. Very good. And Dr. Cup of Tea chimes in here with trouble with bronchitis is you might end up with Brontosaurus or Bronte sister. Yeah. Cup of Tea, you wacky bastard. Well, I respect the packages. Sometimes I should respect that when it's headphones. Yeah. I mean, when I order very few things, but man, I gotta say, it's fucking awesome. As the truckers say, what I saw a meme, it was something about a trucker that said, if you don't like trucks, order less crap, trucks blocking up the roads or whatever. It's true, Biscuit Vapes, for anything like that. And even like if you go to Best Buy or whatever you guys have as the equivalent over there, and you go in and you look for webcams, on a good day, they might have 8, maybe 10 at one here in the United States. On Amazon, it's an endless number. And sometimes that can be baffling, weeding through all the bullshit, merchandise that you might find on there to find the good stuff. Because, sometimes there is so many choices on Amazon with so many bizarre names that, like they're obviously not any name brand that I had ever heard of. You got to wonder, you got to weed through it. Like, where's the good junk and where's the shitty junk? Like, if you're going to get $100 webcam, you want it to be worth 100, not worth 10, which unfortunately a lot of that stuff is minimal priced components put together and sold at an incredible markup just to be comparative or competitive to Logitech or whatever brand might be also selling GoPro, you know. There's a lot of GoPro knockoffs for sure. And I've definitely considered getting one, man. Would be a lot of fun to record stuff. You know, you get a strap or something that holds it right here. I could make some content with that for sure. I mean, what am I going to do? Walk around with the laptop and when I'm fishing, set the laptop next to me and like, it's fucking ridiculous. Doesn't work. Or whatever else I do besides fish, which is nothing. Work, basically. Ooh, tasty. Hello, Mr. Kill C1. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Killer in the house. Not sure I love the fit of this hat, but it does fit me well visually. It wouldn't hold up in a windstorm, I'll tell you. And it's got this logo under the fucking brim, which I can see when I look up there. It says something about the national parks. And when I bought it, I wasn't thinking about national parks. Obviously, Smokey, you know, I had to get this shit. It was like $12. I'm like, fucking Smokey, hell yes, I'm buying that hat. You know? Hello, Smokey. It was meant to be. Got everything set up right tonight. Got the proper microphone, but if I did fuck anything up, just let me know, please, if there's any stuttering or anything like that. I guess I'm going to have to show my ignorance. Cup of tea, GF. My mind immediately goes to girlfriend, and not sure if that's what you mean. But I'm sure it more is something in government. I know you guys have, you know, you have your local people, whatever the hell they're called, MP, right? But I'm not sure what GF is. No problem, Kill. NPS merchandise. National parks? It might be. Liz Truss, right? Liz Truss. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger calls her. Oh, my girlfriend Liz Truss. I get it. Okay, a joke, right? Yeah. Okay. So GF did mean girlfriend. I was right. I just didn't make the connection because I'm not used to Truss even, you know, from us on the foreign side. Yeah, I have to get that kind of into my psyche, into my head that it's no more BJ. Now it's LT. Well, hopefully she does as well as for you as some famous football player with those same initials, LT. Anybody? American football defensive wizard. I know Last Dance is going to get him. She's a bitch. Look at you. Whoa, Biscuit. Yeah, LT, of course. I know you would know that. LT may have had a few problems in life. May have had some substance abuse issues. But he was fast, I tell you. And I think he turned out to be all right. I mean, I don't know. There's some not so shining audio that he gave up in an interview referring to asking for driver's licenses of possibly women of the night, if you will, to verify age. Look it up. He didn't sound good. Yeah, he had issues. He had his issues. I don't know him now. All I remember is that audio from that interview. And he was a hell of a football player. But honestly, I don't know anything about him, as aside from his drug and prostitution sting problems. Possibly underage girls. Allegedly. Oh, okay. Mr. Kill, is that why Biscuit doesn't like her? That's yeah, see, I'm showing my ignorance here, boys and girls, if any are there who have knowledge of it. What has she done? What has she done for you lately? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, he will. I mean, I would say he'll be good, commanding anywhere from 250,000 to 500,000 a night. For sure. There's good money to be made on the speech circuit. People want to hear it. Colleges have a lot of money. So they're willing to drop $500,000, $1 million on a on a graduation, on the main speech for a graduation, Yeah, she's going to cut universal credit card. Is that I guess I'm going to go ahead and throw out that I guess that's some kind of a form of welfare. All right. Now Johnny Boy's in the house throwing out something weird. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to do a quick Google search of that. The Googles. Okay. It's a graphic card, I think. Yep, I was right. Google was right. And I don't really know much about it, John. Sorry. It's not my Biscuit Vapes can get into that. He's a graphics card dude. Knows his shit with the old cards. What do you guys think? Bowl, joint, or you know who? You're on the 20 series. Okay. I would imagine that's probably pretty good graphics for the average person. But I think I want to smoke a joint. I think I've been rolling my joints too fat. I think there's a little bit of wasted smoke there. I don't know. At some point, you're just burning the weed and it's going into the ether. You can't inhale it all, so it's a fine line. 2-gram banger it's a little excessive, I gotta say. I watch a guy on YouTube. His name's Urban Remo. Highly plug his channel. He's a lot of fun. He does Marijuana Mondays, where he rolls up about a 2-gram joint every Monday, different flavor, smokes it with his son, and they review it. They give it a score between 1 and 10, and yeah, to me, it looks like those joints he rolls are wasting some, but the truth of it is the dude's a legendary Canadian grower and cannabis activist. So to tell you the truth, I don't think he has a problem finding weed. People are just, and up in Canada, you can mail an ounce around all over the place in the mail legally. So people are mailing Remo their weed, which they grow, or Maybe they're a big establishment, maybe they're a home grower, who knows what it might be, but in hopes that Remo will feature it on the show, and then he always names the grower. So it's kind of cool. And he gets some fireweed. Ooh, big time. Awesome, awesome looking cannabis. You know, I have decent stuff too. It's not like I'm here flashing the weed trying to impress you guys. I could never do that. Let's find a good bud. Yeah, that one's all right. A little bit leafy. Not really worthy. Could do a quick finger trim just to get a little leafage off. It's a nice nug. A little bit of foxtailing there. But yeah, check them out, Urban Remo. It's fun. Yeah, I hear you. Sometimes you have to do that, John Grammaticus, with technology stuff. I know with digital cameras for a while there, it didn't make sense to buy a new one right away because the next generation would be that much more better, that much more advanced. Canon, for example, and Nikon were battling each other year after year for a while there. And it was like, you know, one year you're buying 10 megapixel, you know, DSLR, and the next year it's up. The main one that you could have bought is at like 18. So you're like, fuck. And you wouldn't have had to spend that much more money to get the next year's model. It's just that the damn technology was advancing so quickly that they were able to put processors in that could handle that. So yeah, I hear you. Sometimes you got to wait a generation, skip one, if you will, and then you are still going to be paying relatively the same amount of money for a far superior product, especially if you're happy with the one that you have. Now, if it's a case of you don't have anything, then you got to start somewhere, then hey, do what you got to do. But if you have a damn good setup, yeah, I don't see any. I think that's good logic to wait a generation, buy the next one. Fuck yeah, dude. Really, really notice the difference then. You want to get your money's worth out of what you have, obviously. What's up, Paul? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. Good to be doing the Saturday night thing. Trying to get a couple. Maybe, do I have 2 joints worth? Not loving this grinder. You can see that buds get stuck in the holes. Kind of annoying. Those are supposed to pass cleanly through. And I'll show you guys how a grinder works. I don't know if you all have ever seen one. Where's the top of this fucker? All right, so you have this thing on the bottom, which is the catcher. You have this guy, which in the middle, which is the bottom of the grinder. This is aircraft aluminum. It's threaded, so it screws on. This is aerospace brand. So you have the teeth in here, and the teeth on this side, and they're milled in such a way that, and there's also a magnet. And when you grind it, the teeth travel in such a way that they don't rub against each other, and obviously grind the cannabis. Then you catch it in the bottom, tap it out. There's a keef screen underneath, which I never look at the keef, but let's see here. How can I do this? Yeah, if I do that. Hold this under it like a little dish. That's all keef. That's keef would be how would you explain keef? The trichome heads broken off from the buds, which some people might call crystals. So anyways, that's a show and tell for tonight. HP. Yeah, I have an HP. I'm doing this on an HP. HPs are all right. It was the first thing I found when I realized I needed something decent to pull this off. This. And I literally was like, boom, first one on the list. I'm buying it. No knowledge. Hey, it's got me 2 years plus so far out of it. So, and I only use it for streaming and surfing YouTube. So I keep it clean. You know what I mean? Nothing going on with this bad boy. So when I'm down in the Outer Banks, I'm going to try to stream again. It is the best. I would be cross-eyed if I smoked that right now. I would never make it. Be like throwing in the towel, dude. After like 8, you know, which would be 1 for you. So, but you're right. I could get to do something with that keef. I've heard you can put, make a little hash out of it somehow, but I suppose that's just an unnecessary step. Yeah, that seems like plenty right there, Paul. That is a lot of pixels. Wondering if anyone saw the Taylor Hawkins. We talked about this. I don't know if I paid attention to the chat. If you guys saw the Wolfgang Van Halen playing at the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert. I gotta recommend that. It is a good watch. And they're going to be doing another one of those here in the U.S., so hopefully they get a decent feed on it. Put some videos out, I guess. I think Taylor had kids. It'd be cool if they can give some money to those guys and help them, get through life, whatever, without a dad. Issues that he may have had, it was still pretty freaking rough. Right, so we got 2 joints going here. Perfect amount for 2. Let's see, about 1 gram each. Pull up. I think that took me about 4 minutes. All right. Hopefully, get some people in here. Yes, cup of tea. It is. Melissa. It's a little Allman Brothers Band. Great tune. I don't know if anyone here is an Allman Brothers fan. Maybe Last Dance. Hey, McGrandy, what's up? I know you like the Allman Brothers. Great tune. I think is that called Jessica? Very good one. I agree. The first one I played was Sweet Melissa. And yeah, the Allman Brothers Band. Great group of guys, great band. Greg Allman showed up with, I believe, 2 or 3 songs when he showed up to the Allman Brothers Band. And he had one song was named Whipping Post, and another song was named Dreams. Both are amazing songs. And you know when a guy shows up for first day to really start playing with the band and breaks out with the ideas for Whipping Post and Dreams, you're like, we might have something here. And his brother happened to be, I'd say, the all-time greatest slide guitar player ever in any music. And Derek Trucks and Bonnie Raitt, I believe, would say the same thing. And they're both amazing in their own right. But if you listen to the solo that he plays, Dwayne Allman, that is, in Statesboro Blues, one of the finest solos ever played on slide guitar. How's it go? Shit. And I have a slide. You guys know I try to play that thing. It's embarrassing. I'm a picker and a grinner. I'm a lover. I'm a sinner. Play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, a midnight toker. Very tasty. Can't beat the joint. You got a really big thing that the bong does. Midnight toker. There you go. Midnight tiker. That's cool. Top Gear used Jessica as a theme song. Right on. I love it. And that has a very lavender flavor. Almost just, I can taste the paper, which I don't love. Oh, you hear the owl? Is he out back? Shit, I don't think I can unplug this thing. I'll totally lose you guys unless I switch over to Wi-Fi. We could go out and try to hear the owl. It is a eastern screech owl. Cool little guy. And he makes the funniest screeching sound. It's so cool. And it's like, it's very weird. Very cool. Love him. We were sitting out there once and he fluttered out of the bush and fucking grabbed a moth out of the light and whoop, gone back into the bush again. I was like, holy shit, the owl, he's right there. It was cool, man. Like the little guy was just sitting there watching us the whole time. And the second that moth was ready and juicy, he, boom, fluttered out, grabbed him and right back into the dark. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love it. I love wildlife. Owls, there's something special about them. They're just mystical, We see occasionally every year on an eruption year, it's eruption with an I, we get snowy owls that come down the coast to the coast of Massachusetts. They come from the Arctic Circle. So when you get to see one of those babies, I don't know, eastern screech owl, it's a tiny little thing the size of not much about this size, the size of this bottle of booze. Everything's the size of a bottle of booze. But anyways, I judge all things by size of booze. I'm like, how tall is he? He's about 6 bottles of booze tall. What does your baby weigh? Baby weighs 3 bottles of booze. Well, if anyone else wants to, or anyone wants to join in, you guys can feel free to click the description below, or I'd be happy to continue on my own. It's always fun too. Yeah, as I said, feel free to click in the description below. And looks like we have a taker. Seagulls, pigeons, and foxes. I hear you. Gulls, I don't mind. They can be annoying. Foxes, if they're invasive, which I'm not sure if they're naturally occurring for you, cup of tea. But pigeons, I agree. Pigeons suck. In most states over here, you can kill and eat pigeons totally legally as long as you're not shooting them. But I think you can hit them with a slingshot or whatever. When I first read that comment, McGrandy, I thought it said used to use laptops for a currency valuation system. I actually see what you did say. Lap dances. All right. I thought laptops. I was like, okay, interesting. He's searching a currency valuation system with his laptop. But no, you actually meant lap dances. I see. All right. Okay. Cool. How you doing, Last Dance?
All right. How you doing?
Mm-hmm. Pretty well, thank you. Pretty well. Just had a nice day here. Went out to lunch with the in-laws, which was cool. They're super fun people, so it was nice.
Sounds good. I went out to lunch with both my daughters today.
Oh, sweet.
At a vegan restaurant in Baltimore called Double Zero. You apparently have one in Boston.
No kidding.
That's what it said in the menu.
Got to ask you, did you cover the tab?
Of course.
All right. That's what dads do.
I don't care if the only reason they come with me is because I'm paying it.
Right.
That's a deal I'll accept.
Yeah. We kind of knew they were going to pay today too, so they picked the restaurant. We were kind of like, well, that's kind of odd, but they're paying, so I can get a decent club sandwich, or whatever, and it was pretty good, We ate outdoors. It was windy as hell. but bright sun, so it worked. You know, it was nice. I always prefer outdoors if possible. It's, you know, 95% of the time you go to a restaurant, you're inside, so it's kind of cool to actually be someplace where you have a view and, you know, fresh air. But,
My father-in-law used to go to the same goddamn place all the time. It's the Dinah. I love the Dinah. We got to go to the Dinah. Lots of great restaurants, you know, within 20-minute drive there.
mm,
But he always went to the friggin' Dinah. But I enjoyed going with him, and you know, I liked my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, and enjoyed their conversation. And the diner wasn't terrible, but there were just
you could you
other
could
places
eat
I like better.
you could eke out some things from the diner menu that
Yes,
would put a meal together for you.
yeah. If all else fails, I could just have French fries and
Yeah, of course, right?
manage not to starve to death by that. Do that.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say home fries, French fries, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Any potato is always a good home run. Cool. Yeah. So we're doing the Outer Banks thing in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Sounds like fun.
I guess. I don't know. This might be it for the Outer Banks. Um,
You
it's
know, I'm not a beach person, but Judy and I would regularly go down to Bethany Beach just to relax, and it
what
always
town is that?
was.
Is that in Maryland?
It's in Delaware. It's just north of the Maryland border.
Mm,
It was very relaxing. We always enjoyed it. I was just more of a mountains
mhm,
lover, so I prefer going into the mountains for the drives.
mhm. Yeah, I had 10 years in Vermont, and I realized then that I missed the ocean more
Huh?
than I wanted the mountains. So it ended up
Yeah.
being good to come to the ocean. But I got my time there, and that was great. You know, it was, you know, being able to find a secluded like river out in the woods, out on, you know, on a hike, and you can't find that in populated areas. Nor
No.
the ocean has always got people. You know, so
Yep.
yeah, you can definitely get. You're more likely to have solitude in the wooded areas and the mountains, and that's cool. I definitely dig it. We were talking about that today. There's no really good hikes here. We they're just you have to go to like Western Mass or New Hampshire to the White Mountains or Vermont or something like that. But Massachusetts near Boston is pretty lame.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like. Are there mountains nearby, or is it not really that close?
Well, there's the Blue Hills, which is in a south of Boston. That covers a couple of different towns. That's not exactly close to us, but that would be the closest thing. Then, like, Western Mass has like Mount Monadnock, which is something, but everyone in Mass wants to get a hike in. They go to Mount Monadnock. So the trail is like 10 feet wide. And it's like, you know, you're going up and passing people constantly. You know, it's totally not.
It's crowded, huh?
Yeah, it sucks, man.
How about those
Definitely.
Berkshires?
That's way out west for us. The closest
Okay,
would be like the White Mountains in New Hampshire. I don't know if you're familiar at all with those.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've never been there.
Excuse me. And the Green Mountains of Vermont, and of course, Maine has Acadia National Park and all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah,
But
I've heard about that park. I think I would like to go see that
mm,
sometime.
I think you'd like New England, man. If you
Yeah.
like mountains, you can find some pretty secluded stuff in New Hampshire, Vermont, and you know, you could do like a New Hampshire, Maine week or something like that, you know. And of course, if you came that close, we're getting together.
That sounds good.
You know, if I ever get the chance to get to do a pub with any one of you guys or whatever, just to get together for a drink, even would be
Speaking of which, I got a little bit of rum in here,
ooh,
so that's my compromise. I forgot to get beer, so I
cool.
have a little bit of rum in here.
That's tasty. Look who it is. Hey, what's up?
How's
Hey,
it going,
biscuit,
guys?
looking good.
Looking good, brother.
8 stone down as of 2 days ago.
8 stone total. Very good. Very
Yep.
good. 8 stone.
That's amazing.
That's 112 pounds.
Yeah, awesome. Well,
That
I
is-
mean, maybe we could meet at
Hey, Topple.
Topple. We could meet at a location somewhere out there in public with lots of people around, and then it would be fine. I'm just kidding, dude. How far for you to come to the Outer Banks? That would be pretty far, right?
It's at least I think it's at least 200 miles. I could actually
200 miles.
I have been there though with Judy before the girls were born.
Yeah,
So more than 32 years ago.
no kidding. 32 years old, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So you are like
I'm 60.
mhm. My kid's going to be 14, so you're quite far ahead of me.
Yeah, and I don't miss when they were 14. Those were ugly years when they did not enjoy it. Well, 12 and 13 were the worst. 14, I think when they started high school was better.
They start maturing a little, and
Yeah, and the culture and environment are a little better. The middle school environment is quite toxic here.
no kidding, huh?
Yeah.
Bullying,
Yep.
cliques, that sort of
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
It sucks.
Everything that's terrible was true for around the middle school they went to.
Damn. And then high school people were cool, like cooler,
Well,
chill.
it was just a little. I don't know. It was a little better for whatever reason.
Right.
A little more freedom, maybe. That's what it's. More choices, a little bigger of a world when you get there, so you don't feel as much pressure.
And it's a great reset for, let's just say from 8th grade to freshman year in high school. That 8th grader who might have felt like the king of the world then becomes the low man on the totem pole is in high school.
Yep.
And it happens again in college, and it's humbling each time,
Yep.
But I think like when it happens in high school, by the time you get to be the leader, the senior, I think then you really are maturing. So that's why I see a lot of really good seniors, like in a lot of the high schools around here, like doing community service, helping out with the young kids at the YMCA summer camps, and doing like good shit in the town. So you're right, and almost like in middle school, they're not there yet. It's like their minds aren't there. So
No.
it's funny. It's a development thing, man. Interesting. To see you there, Topple. Anybody else I missed? Grandy's here.
Smokesteve wife.
Here's my wife. Yeah. Good biscuit. Oh, you just said thanks to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing the comments before me, probably.
I've got live chat up.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So live chat comes in faster to YouTube than it does to me.
Possibly.
Sometimes it's very. It's not always consistently faster. It's strange.
Huh. I wanted to ask Grandy if he'd heard anything about this tropical storm coming in. You guys?
Yeah, there's like 3 of them in the Atlantic.
And it looks like the direction is mostly towards the Gulf, which is good for me for my vacation, but it's still sketchy for Florida, sketchy for my dad. What's that behind you, Biscuit?
It's my new TV.
So it's just on like a screensaver?
I've just put aquarium app on Fire TV.
Cool.
Something nice to look at in background. It only costs 40 quid as well.
$40 for that TV?
Yep. Because they give me 300 for my old TV. And then
because it was a warranty issue.
Yeah.
They ended up not being able to fix it.
They couldn't fix it, and they didn't have a replacement, so they gave me my money back.
Now, did you have to pay extra for that? coverage.
Just an extra 40 for that because it's a bigger TV. My
So
old
did,
one.
did
Go on.
the old one fail within 1 year of the warranty?
It was 12 months and a week.
So they still honored it?
Well, it was 2-year warranty.
Oh, I see. You pay extra for that, right?
No, that's standard with Hisense.
Huh. Yeah, it's not standard with any other brand.
I've just bought a Bush TV, so I'm hoping that doesn't go in a year.
Bush?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Really?
Is that owned by?
It's a Japanese brand.
Bush, huh? Never heard of it. Japanese?
You heard of
Sometimes
Toshiba? I think it might be a sister company of Toshiba.
Huh.
I've certainly heard of Toshiba.
Well, join in, buddy. Whether or not whomever you may possibly talking about joins in, come on in yourself. You're always welcome.
So I got the forecast for, I think it's Ian, Tropical Storm Ian.
Yes.
It has it going through the Gulf, but coming up, curving back around up the eastern seaboard and going into North Carolina. But the current track has it, well west,
right,
in North Carolina. So it wouldn't even affect the Outer Banks.
Could definitely cause some surf. I mean, who knows? The ocean is so variable down there. It's not exactly like a swimming focused vacation. You're lucky if you can swim when you're there,
Yeah.
Scary undertows. I got a new subscriber. All right. I'm not going to say his name, but welcome. He just subbed to my YouTube channel randomly, and I just got a notification for that. That's cool. Cool. Right on. Very, very good. Any of you guys happen to hear about what Trump was talking about on what's it called, Truth Social last night? Any of the memes that he might have been putting up there?
Oh God.
I
can't imagine.
When are they going to arrest him?
I haven't verified this, so I shouldn't talk about it because I haven't verified it. Right? Should I verify it right now because I don't want to be spreading.
Just say, before you say anything, say allegedly.
That covers all sins.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here.
Greg Topple, how about tax fraud? And embezzlement?
Yeah, there's some of the cases right now that are against him are civil cases, not criminal. So,
well, he lied to banks, didn't he, about how much he was worth?
yeah. I mean, there certainly are criminal issues in the air.
Yeah. Basically, all his properties, he basically doubled the value of what he was, and triple in some cases.
Well, here's the thing. When he wanted to inflate his ego, it seemed he increased the size and value. And when he wanted to decrease his taxes, he decreased the value of things. So it seems like there was two things at war there, with him trying to impress people and then maybe him trying to lower his tax bill at the same time.
I just want to say I'm sorry, Topple, but you can't be brainwashed with facts and figures.
God, I'm so sick of Trump. Can't we just?
Can we?
Can't the name Trump stop being in the news ever?
It's all right. We've got a shitty prime minister, so we need to complain about someone.
Oh, your prime ministers are, it's a different universe of intelligence and integrity than our presidents.
You sure about that?
Certainly, I'm sure I feel that way. Under the hood, I don't really know what they do. Maybe they have children's organs for dinner every night. I don't really know what they do.
Right. So yeah, Trump put some weird QAnon shit together at one of his rallies, and he tweeted about some uh,
Have we now
QAnon
verified this?
stuff. Yeah, it's verified. CBS News for sure. I'm just not going to get too much into it because I didn't research it, and I'm going to be sitting here like fact checking myself. Wow, we have two of the same person. Yeah, you have two of you, so I'll just click on one.
Even better.
There you go. All right, good timing.
How are
Let's
you?
see. Very good.
How you doing, McGrand?
Good, good.
Good to see you. How's the other McGrand doing?
You can wash him out.
Look at that. They're in
What's-
perfect time. That's
What's it like to have a twin?
I don't know how you pulled that one off, man. That was trippy. But, yeah, cool. How's life down there?
It's good.
Good. Right on.
Expecting that hurricane. We'll see if that happens.
More, yeah. I thought more on the Gulf side, right?
Yeah,
So-
the cone of predictability is pretty wide at this point. So,
Uh-huh.
but I have another source that shows wind currents, and I really don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to go farther west.
Okay. Here we go. Now I missed this part. I was too much researching, too quick, busy. So,
Well, who
He's talking-
brainwashed me?
I think he's talking about anyone who goes after Trump. I'm not sure.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Who's really the brainwashed one, Topple?
Ooh. Hey, if crimes were committed, then
That's it.
simple enough. Simple enough. If they weren't, then it's simple as that. But
You know, I don't. I trust the FBI, but not 100%, not even close. That's why I put up that story on Discord about the FBI raiding that safety deposit box company called Private Vaults,
Yeah,
and they raided the company. They got a warrant. They went way beyond what the warrant said they can do. They basically stole hundreds of people's property without any due process and without, beyond the warrant. And it's just been it's been atrocious. They misled the judge when they got the warrant. The judge had restrictions on what they could do with the seized property, and they ignored those restrictions and went well beyond it. So,
seems to be a big focus on that one incident.
It's happened before, though. There's that. There's others.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Ruby Ridge. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, Ruby Ridge, Waco.
Yeah,
There's just a lot of.
but
Janet Reno.
well, you know what the
She's
funny thing
crazy,
about
that
Janet
jazz
Reno
player.
is she was state attorney down in Dade County.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She was a big woman.
She was. I remember that.
Yeah, and she ran for actually ran for the presidency, and she passed out on the stage. And I remember this photo of them working on her, and there were like three people there, and her feet and her legs were like extended out beyond the area
Right.
of operation.
Like Frankenstein.
She must have went down like a redwood, for Christ's sake.
Yep,
Damn.
she
I think
actually
she's
went
dead.
through the
She's gotta be dead, right?
1928 hurricane
Yeah.
down here.
She's dead.
She grew up in the woods with her daddy on the Everglades. Yeah. She was a special woman.
Wrestling Gators.
Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah,
That was one of her big cases. After, in addition to the Ruby Ridge and the Reno,
Waco.
Waco. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, that was prophetic because Reno came later, didn't it? Oh, that was Los Angeles. Sorry.
Hey, Aphid Lip.
Hey,
Hope,
hey, hey.
hope to see you soon.
Yeah, buddy.
You're the straw that stirs the drink, if not the drink itself.
Hey, look at that. Join in, pal. Yeah, there've been some missteps. I mean, can you also name some positive, things they've done that have had positive results, saved lives?
The
There's got to
FBI.
be there's got to be 100
Oh
times
yeah,
more than the
yeah, of
mistakes.
course. So that's why I say I trust them, but not 100%.
There's been some stuff that might have ended up being terrorist attacks that they've cut off. Fairly significant networks of people who were
Yeah,
planning things.
absolutely. I just
That-
don't think that one or numerous successes should blind us to any um, violations of our civil rights, our Fourth Amendment and Fifth Amendment rights. We should never give them a pass, or a mulligan just because they've done well, the previous 100 times. We're going to let the 101, if they make a mistake, go without comment.
right. No, each mistake
Well,
should be
Here,
investigated.
that's ironic because scrutiny is actually the key. I agree with you completely there, Last Dance, but don't you find it amazing how the right wing has discounted numerous instances of evidence and fabricated alternative realities?
Yeah, I do, but it's not just the right wing. It's all partisans are these days, especially, are just ignore.
Mm.
Nobody has principles that are independent of the circumstances. They're all contingent or conditional on whose ox is being gored.
Oh.
If our guy does it, they make an excuse. If their guy does it, there's no excuse. And it happens both ways, and it's infuriating because well, we lost him. I feel that if we're not consistent with supporting civil rights, Fourth Amendment and Fifth Amendment rights, then you'll just, whenever administrations change parties, it'll be the other party's time to be oppressed, and that just means everybody loses. We should have a system and principles so that everybody wins. So, we're not that bad yet, but the trends are disturbing.
Yep.
Hey, Topple, how you doing? I think he's whispering. Are you whispering,
Your
Topple?
microphone broken, Topple?
I can't hear you.
Nope.
All right, and we're back.
Oh,
Yeah.
his microphone was turned off on the.
That just happened. It was before.
right.
It wasn't.
Got you.
What was top hit the road?
No, his
Topple, we couldn't
microphone
hear him.
wasn't working.
Okay. You're back, McGrand. What's up, dude?
What happened, McGran?
I'm getting a double on the audio.
Maybe that's because there's two of you. You and your twin.
Now he's
Huh.
gone. He's just him now.
Oh well.
Are you getting double now, McGrandy?
I
Hello?
think I'm gonna cut the.
How about now? How about now?
Yeah, just keep the StreamYard tab open.
It might be me. It might be me.
Do you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
loud and
Yes.
All right. So that's good enough for me.
clear. Perfecto. Very good.
It was the YouTube was open. It was like
There you go.
I was
Come
in a.
on,
I was in
McGran.
a
That's
Grand,
a rookie mistake.
I was in a Grand Canyon.
I've done it when I went on other people's streams because it's rare, but it happens. Yep. Have you been catching anyone? Do you guys catch Drone Tech's videos at all?
No, but I wanted to see his last one because it looked.
Which one was that? He's busting them out so quickly; it's hard to keep
Yeah.
track.
Well,
Let me.
I remember him on Live Week, and it was just like he was hunter and gatherer of other people's videos and conglomerating them, putting them on.
Joe Biden is going full authoritarian.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, that's kind of what he does now, but I'm not saying that in a negative way. He
No.
definitely cruises this news and all the daily shows. I mean, he's got to go through a lot of content to find anything that, and then he can make a video out of it, you know? So,
I mean, I don't agree with him much, but I really admire what he's done with that, with
Hey,
his YouTube channel.
If the guy can make a success out there, all the best, you know?
mhm.
And it's because he's done hard work. It's not like he just lucked into it. He's done a lot of work building an audience and
Oh,
doing
yeah.
a lot of shows over the years.
And as Hayden said, he was the first one ever to upload content to LiveLeak Drone Tech. So
Oh, I didn't know that. So he's
Yeah.
like a pioneer there.
he's an OG, bro, as OG as they get on LiveLeak.
Yep.
No, it wasn't original content. It was
No, but it was
copied
Drone
content. That was the difference with LiveLeak, because a lot of LiveLeak, for example, like that guy from Australia. You remember the dude? He was so funny. I don't know if you guys remember, but just original content, and that was the beauty of LiveLeak, was original content, not harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
But to his benefit, he's a success today, and he outlived the LiveLeak, didn't he?
Well, I don't know if I agree with that, because a lot of the LiveLeak stuff was taking some level of violent or
Cup of Tea says it's some tosser.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Some tosser.
he's been on here. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
Oh man, brilliant! A brilliant producer.
I think
So-
we are closer to World War III Cup of Tea. I'm sorry to say, than even 2/3 years ago.
Thank God I've
I
got.
think he's saying 2 to 3 years ago, not
Thank-
2/3.
Either one is true. but
Right,
yeah.
either one, right. Which would be 2/3 of a year would be what, about 8
Mm,
8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You never
Thank
think-
God I'm an asthmatic. I can't be conscripted.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is we're really at a point in history. It parallels many other occasions. This is like the Cuban Missile Crisis, and really what it comes down to is as far as and I understand where it's coming from for Europeans. You know, they're concerned because they're closer, but
I'd more likely say it's closer to Auschwitz in World War II.
Jesus.
I,
World War
I,
III.
I think what's important right now is that the West really holds its ground, because we've learned from the past that appeasement is a very dangerous game, and we're playing within the rules. It's not like we've got fleets going into the Caspian or anything else. And it seems that our surrogates, and I'll say this, involuntary surrogates, the Ukrainians, are really a noble and probably the best scenario we could have ever hoped for in an East-West conflict, because they
And-
know those guys better than we know those guys, and we got to stand our ground somewhere, and it
You know,
seems to be working.
I don't disagree with you, but I think that is too narrow a point of view. I think it's not just about standing your ground. Although many of what you say is right. If you don't, then you're setting yourself up for future failure. But the risks are too great to only focus on standing your ground. You still need to find some formula, some way to stop the escalation that's happening, and even stop the fighting, and find some formula for to end this. It can't just be, there's a risk at any time that the conflict will escalate, and the Russians will be in conflict with not just Ukraine, but the West.
Well, it's going there now, because this referendum is basically going to fake a referendum,
Yep.
take the land, and then say you can't You can't retaliate on this land now. And the
'Cause the-
Ukrainians are gonna because it's their land, and the rest of Europe and the world
You're right.
agreed. And is gonna start using nukes.
I'd hope it won't, but the risk it keeps getting greater, and that's an escalation on Russia's part.
Well,
And we need to do more than just stand our ground. Standing ground is good, but we need to find a way to de-escalate.
He's literally Hitler with advanced weapons.
yeah.
Well, he's not Hitler. I mean,
He is. He's kidnapping children and taking them to Russia and giving them to.
He's a bad man, but he's not Hitler. I don't like.
Oh
we can't.
God.
Everything is not Hitler, and everything is not World War II.
Well, we're looking for a benchmark.
Don't mention Hitler.
I think
you can mention Hitler in this context.
we'll call him Adolf, and I think that is actually a close comparison because he is sick and he's dying, and if you look at that guy, and everybody in Russia knows it because the smartest people on earth are Russians,
Let's hope.
they know human nature, and the reality is that we are coming very close to a coup. This baby's going to be over with soon.
It's
all
wishful
falling
thinking.
apart.
I hope it's true, but I don't think so.
It's all falling apart.
Let's hope that Putin follows Adolf's history and does it a bit faster and takes a gun to the face.
It's not going to happen. In fact, it's much worse because he can't accept defeat, and so if in faith, and he's not doing it. It's not going well in Ukraine. I mean, for him, it's just a typical stalemate where it goes back and forth. And lately it's been going against him. He's going to, conscript more troops and pour more resources in, and then it'll go his way. And
no, it won't go his way.
It won't because those troops are not really troops.
Exactly,
they're just civilians going and getting killed. It's just going to get more people dead.
It's an impotent effort. It is the grandest thing you could hear from Russia because they are so desperate and they are fucking weak.
You don't
and we
want
have finally realized that. The Western powers have finally seen the cards that Russia holds. And they are
right.
weak.
They are weak.
And they are fucking
you know where they're not weak? They have excellent nuclear weapons.
Well,
and
do they? Yes, they might have nuclear.
You want to call their bluff and find out?
Is their technology as great as they say it is? Because their battlefield strategy,
I agree.
Is shit.
Oh, I'm sure they exaggerate, but
Biscuit, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
they have proven themselves to be bluffers all along.
Oh, you don't think they have nuclear weapons?
Oh no, they do, but I think it's shit.
Yes.
Well, the smartest people in the world are Jews. Ashkenazi Jews or something like that. I remember reading an article about that. So highest IQ tested amongst anybody were those Ashkenazi Jews. I think they're from northern Germany or something like that. So
well, they're actually from Eastern Europe, including many were in Russia.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's when you have to memorize all those scriptures.
Biscuit, who blew up the largest nuclear weapon ever? In 1961.
Oh,
was
Russia. That a hydrogen bomb?
Yes, it was the Tsar Bomba, they call it.
Tsar Bomba. Yeah, the Tsara. Right.
54 megatons or something enormous amount.
That's definitely something as a kid I looked up. I remember seeing the pictures of that sucker, and I think it's
so they know how to make thermonuclear weapons.
The Last Dance, and they're also charged at Chernobyl and all kinds of other nuclear facilities and the wastelands of Azerbaijan and their oil.
They're not in charge of Chernobyl anymore.
And these guys are incompetent. They're proven themselves.
McGrand, I'm not an admirer of Russia. I'm just saying
the only thing that
we don't need to go to nuclear war with them. That's not going to have a winner.
I don't want to go to war with them either. But the only thing they have is those rockets that
those pesky nuclear
hypersonic missiles. Is that what you're thinking?
No, they're rockets that can consistently bring astronauts up to the space station.
That's
a German
let's go
design.
there.
Those rockets, and we mimic them as well. That's a consistent rocket technology. And
And
it's
how accurate
like-
are their rockets? Not very.
How accurate do they have to be?
no, I'm talking
they
about
are-
the ones going to the space station. I'm not talking about
Yeah, they're space. They're space missiles.
Ukrainian stuff. That's
What's
a
the difference between a rocket and a missile? I know there's technically a difference, right?
I
The
don't think
rocket
there's a
carries
difference.
the missile.
A rocket is, rocket is a
Is
is a
I thought-
chemically it supplies its own oxidizer basically.
Mm,
Missiles may be based on rocket technology, or they may be based on jet engines.
Well,
Like
the
cruise
there might
missiles-
be
missiles
some-
have jet
the
engines.
missiles are on top of the rockets. That's a
Well,
propulsion-
Russians call
No,
them all
that's the-
rockets.
That's the
the
warhead.
rockets are a propulsion system. The
No,
the
I
missile.
think I thought that one was.
You're right, cup of tea. I don't have a great.
I thought
history
that
there.
one was it was based on fuel, like and air and
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
yeah. So
Yep.
one needs air to burn, and the other
Yep.
doesn't.
They need oxygen.
Solid
oxygen.
oxygen boosters. That's the amazing thing. Like our technology,
No,
it's
no,
like
that's not
your
exactly.
rocket outside. It's solid oxygen.
They have their own chemical for rockets. It might be liquid oxygen in the case of the space shuttle, or it might be some other oxidizer with
Yeah.
a lot of oxygen bound up in some other element.
Yeah.
But they don't use the outside air for oxygen. Jet engines use the outside air for
Yeah.
combustion.
So, right.
and
Does a
outside.
missile
Yeah.
have a jet engine on it?
No.
Some do. Cruise missiles do.
Okay. So cruise missiles would have an air intake. Like
So the
That's right.
missile,
facing. I see.
the rocket is a delivery system. Missile or the warhead. Well, you could
I
have a
think
warhead.
you're
I'm
making this
sorry.
all up on the fly, McGrandy. I don't. Just in theory.
Well, he
Yes.
has his definition of things, and a lot of people.
No, the fact is he's correct. You could have a missile with a warhead. So,
Warhead.
but I'm
Yeah,
saying
that's right.
if you're talking artillery, it's different. You have a propulsion system and a warhead.
Well, you can have ballistic missiles as well, which are literally just they get the first punch and then that's it. They just carry on
Right.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
there's-
it's
Hello?
and some of them have multiple delivery systems where they drop off ordnance on the way.
Yeah.
You know.
There's not many pure ballistic missile systems anymore. Even the ones that are called the ICBMs, they all have post launch
Well,
guidance in the warheads themselves.
ballistic missiles are basically just big bullets, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. A ballistic path is one that it's determined by the initial blast.
Yeah.
In the case of a missile, it's determined by the rocket runs, and then it runs out of fuel, and the rest is the ballistic trajectory.
And
But they all
Ronald
have
Reagan-
guidance fins now, so they're all too smart to be legitimately called ballistic missiles.
Well,
What
I-
was Reagan's defense shield thing called that was supposed to be able to shoot them out of space? I think?
Strategic Defense Initiative.
yeah, that was the greatest scam. It actually brought down the Soviet Union because it was not feasible and it was never ever proven to be effective. But it was the greatest scam ever.
Don't they have those on the western islands of US, like the anti missile?
Yeah, I haven't followed that. I know there were.
I watched it. I don't know if it was.
What would that be
based
like?
on anything.
Hawaii or
No, it's
You
on the. It's really far out, like in between Russia and America.
Yeah,
Eastern Island, Alaska, Bering Straits.
yeah, around there, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, let's
Guam-
not forget
Guam.
about Spies Like Us. The scene at the end when the missile and it's out apparently in the middle of whatever, Siberia. Apparently that was the technology. They had mobile ICBMs back in the day. Was that for real?
They
Last
still
Dance?
do. Absolutely, they still do.
So
Yeah.
they're just.
Submarines too. That's
Oh, I know
So-
that. I know the submarine thing, but the
yeah,
thing
but
that
that's
they're
the
just-
ace.
Just driving around.
The-
They
the other
keep
ones
these
don't
things
have the
moving,
range.
Probably they keep them moving to basically never be able to be tracked to be targeted by other nuclear weapons. There's
Yeah.
obviously
That's
Without a fixed location, it's hard to have a pre-targeting of them.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's in the defense world, there's there's ideas, and then there's the counter idea. It's all development and counter development.
I would suggest that based on the recent performance that we've seen from Soviet or pre-Soviet or post-Soviet
Russia.
technology from Russia, that I'm beginning to doubt the ability of their mobile nuclear launch capacity.
You're right to doubt, but it's too much of a gamble to bet on it. And if you want to keep escalating, then you're betting on it that they will.
That's what Russia's betting on, though. Let me ask you this:
what is the definition of escalation? The defense of a country that's being invaded by them?
Well, the definition of escalation is easy. It's when the situation becomes more serious and there's more resources committed, and it's a ratcheting up of tensions between parties.
What would you suggest that the people of Ukraine do in defense of their country?
The people of Ukraine should keep fighting. That's their land.
Good.
Okay. What should we do to eliminate escalation?
We should not have a singular tunnel vision focus on just arming Ukraine. That's part of it, but we should also be looking to de-escalate, reduce tensions, find a formula, if not for peace, then at least for discussions. You shouldn't just focus on one thing.
Absolutely.
I hear Chamberlain.
And the reason I've come on is that I thought, I think Putin's getting a hard time from you guys. I think you're being really unfair.
Excuse me, Lee.
I swear to God, listen, he's been pre-warning of this for since 2014. You can't start.
That makes it right, does it?
It doesn't.
It doesn't make it right.
Just wait a second, Bissy, because I'd say honestly, a lot of things you've said, I'm taking issue with. Number one, since 2014, he's been saying if NATO expands into the Ukraine, then I'll do something to stop it, which he's done. They've pushed and pushed. It's not a member of the EU. It's not a member of NATO. They're flooding weapons in like you wouldn't believe. I thought, in my naivety, that this was like we were giving them weapons. I found out this week from reading an article, they owe the UK £5 billion a month.
What, that's how many we were giving it them free?
Well, I thought they were like, we're going to support them and give them free weapons. Now, the other thing is, which is really important,
how much do they owe us?
Well, exactly, exactly.
Billions.
And that brings me on to my next point. If you've listened to his speech and is it with Erdogan in Turkey, he wants it to end. He's making it clear he wants it to end. He can't understand why Zelensky won't meet him, so they can negotiate a truce. And it's all because there must be something else behind it. And I honestly believe the more and more the Ukraine get into debt, the better it is for the West and for the USA. This war is ridiculous. And I think Last Stance and I have discussed before now, the easy thing is give him a way out, make it a demilitarized zone, problem over, stop innocent people from dying, whether they're soldiers or civilians. This whole situation stinks.
It's not just as simple as that, though, is it? Because it doesn't just want them to just give up and be demilitarized. He wants the land as well.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this:
how much proven himself?
But then you've got to compromise because he's not going to go away. He'll stay there like he did in Afghanistan 12, 15 years. He'll do it if he has to.
So what do you suggest? Do you suggest they give him half that land?
This is the
no, that's not fair.
This is a critical moment.
What's up?
I suggest they talk and see where it goes.
Yeah,
and not prejudge what the results will be.
That they are talking. I'm assured they are talking.
I'm not so sure. I hope you're right. I don't know for sure that you're wrong, but it doesn't seem like it.
No. This is a critical moment. It is.
It is because Aphidlip just came on.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
Hi, Aphid. You're right, bud.
Cheers, all.
Aphidlip, we need your wisdom to get us out of this mess.
Oh, you're in a heck of a bunch of trouble if that's the case.
The world's health and safety totally hinges on what you say in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, here we go. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
Putin is quietly watching this show.
You were born for this.
What's the
think
question?
they
I've
grew-
been battling technical issues, so I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
We're talking about Ukraine and Putin.
Putin?
Well,
Is that
actually,
Putin's
I can characterize
cousin?
it for you. We are at a
Yeah.
moment
Putin.
where are we going to allow Putin to continue to bluff the rest of the world, or are we going to try and negotiate him like Chamberlain tried with Adolf Hitler? So that's where we are.
Yeah,
You're
but
on.
there's much saber rattling going on the other side. I watched an interview, maybe going back 4 months ago, maybe even 5 actually, where there was a minister from the Ukraine, and Zelensky was backing up, saying, you know, with the war, I think had been going for about 4 or 5 weeks or whatever, and he mentioned that the factories or machinery was still in place where maybe they could start making the new nuclear missiles to protect the country. Now, everybody after that said, that was reporting on that story, said it would take them years to do that, but they still mentioned it. This week, they're saying that Putin's been threatening because he's mentioned about, you know, he could use everything that he's got to hand, and that they threatened to make nuclear missiles. And straight after that, they then said, well, that was a lie because they've never done. I'm thinking, I watched that. I heard those words. So don't say he's lying. And it just annoys me because I understand it's propaganda in many ways, but it's just so one-sided. I mean, this guy can't be wrong about everything. Not everything.
Yes,
You're
it's
surrounding his
one-sided.
country. You're surrounding his country with the United with these forces. I mean, the next thing, what you want?
There
Bases
is
in
no
Ukraine,
NATO in
American
Ukraine,
troops in
though.
Ukraine, European troops in Ukraine, all under the banner of the UN. And
None
if I
of
was
those are
him,
there.
if I
Well,
was
they're
him, no, but they're proposing it. And don't Biscuit, you can't say, oh, they won't do it. Look what they've done with Estonia. Look what they've done with Latvia. Look, I mean, they're surrounding the whole of the country. And if it was me and my country, I would be concerned.
Oh, it's only a response to threats
Yeah.
from them. They are
They're
responding.
not
They are
threats. Look at
standing
the
ground.
UN map.
No,
Look
no,
at the
no,
UN
no,
map.
no.
And
Have you
go
not
back
seen what they've
15
done in-
years ago and
have you
see
not
where
seen
it
what
is
those
now.
Critical moment. This is a critical moment, Lee. Are you going to fall to the fear of a bully, regardless, even if it
No.
means self-destruction?
No. I don't
You
believe
must
what he's
stand
doing.
your ground
Have you seen
against
what
this
the Russian
animal.
But
soldiers
Grandy, I
have
don't
done
even
in
believe
Donetsk?
what he's doing is right. But if you start to push somebody into a corner, which is what the UN done and the Western world has done, he will react. It's
So
just
far.
obvious.
And let me say this, McGran.
Yeah.
Just because we don't put troops, suppose we didn't put troops in Latvia and Estonia and any of the Baltics, it doesn't mean that we're telling Putin that he can go ahead and invade them. That doesn't mean that at all. You could still have lines, but you know, it's as always you have to look at the other side's point of view
Of course.
before you do something.
Of
You
course.
can't just say we do it because those
No.
countries asked us to.
Even if that other side's point of view is completely irrational, you
Yeah.
still take that into
Absolutely.
It's not irrational.
How's it
Absolutely.
irrational, Steve? It's not
the
irrational. You're
reality
surrounding
is-
a country with what he sees as his enemy.
They're outside. It's irrational because they're not his enemy, and they're
are
outside of the borders of his country.
their acts of strength
So you
are
can't
in
just
response to
invade.
his
Let-
overt threats to them.
No,
He has threatened them, and for the first time in a long time, Europe is standing up against a dictator, and it is a fucking grand day.
Well, I wouldn't exactly.
I
go-
disagree.
I
I
wouldn't-
disagree.
Hold on, I wouldn't say
We're
it's the
closer to
first
nuclear
time-
war than we've ever been, I think.
I
And
wouldn't
that's
say
not
that.
so grand.
I wouldn't
Well,
say it's the first time
happened.
we've stood up against the
Good choice of words, last dance. That's
mean-
not so grand. I like it.
I
It
mean,
might be
Saddam,
Mick grand, but it's not so grand.
Saddam Hussein was a dictator, and we stood up against him, and look what that got us.
We
Shot ourselves in the
I
foot.
think it's more important
yeah,
to look
look
at
where that got us.
Hitler
Yeah,
is the
it
perfect
created
fucking
mayhem in the
example
Middle
here.
East. And we
Correct.
went to war over a lie, you know?
We
It
were
was just
better
about
with
changing the
Hussein
regime
in
like we
power
did
than we were
in
without him.
Libya.
I
And
agree.
it's a complete mess.
Lee, I got to tell you, absolutely right. And us meddling in the Middle East was for the gain of fortune. But what
No,
we're
no.
seeing in Ukraine is clearly a
It is
different story.
Yeah.
And
You know what's not
the
different? The
occupation-
certainty that we were right in both cases.
Well, I don't think first
In
of all,
both cases,
thank
what?
God we're not involved in this one. But as far as what happened in Iraq, that was a travesty, and it truly we destabilized the whole Middle East, and we're going to live with that legacy for another 100 years. Okay,
Dude, it's
But-
not like we learned from that lesson. You know, we did the same
We
thing in
have
Libya
learned.
10 years later.
But
Exactly.
Last Dance, you and I have learned from that lesson, correct? So
Well, I have.
they haven't.
And I
haven't.
think to a degree, until all of this erupted, I got the feeling that the next target on the USA's agenda was Iran as well. I think that
Well,
were
that's
trying to,
The
ridiculous.
next target is China when they're invading. Is it Taiwan?
they won't be able to do anything, Biscuit.
Listen,
They won't
we
do
have-
anything. They'll just jump up and down, make a load of noise, and that
No,
will be the
Lee,
end of
we're
it.
in damage control. We don't want it. We're not ready to invade anybody. Believe me.
You
the-
can't find
the only-
China.
The only good thing is we're watching China. That's for sure. But the reality is, we don't want any trouble because we're trying to settle back here. All right. As far as what happened in the Middle East, that's Iran's problem because when we invaded and had democratic elections in Iraq, we handed Iraq to Iran.
That's correct.
The rest of it is that's our legacy. We
Absolutely.
fucked up big time. All right. Unless you want to support a bunch of 20% people controlling the country that are Baathists and have a link to Al Qaeda in
Well,
Iraq,
don't
that's a
forget-
different
They,
story.
they never
Don't
had a
forget-
link to
don't
Al
forget,
Qaeda.
Now there's Afghanistan as well because you
The
decided
Sunni-
to just
this-
pull straight out of there.
We're
didn't-
not going
they-
to talk about Iraq right now, but
Yeah.
that's a different story. Anbar province, come on.
No, that before
Brotherhoods,
before we overthrew Hussein, they didn't have any link to
Oh
Al
yeah,
Qaeda.
yeah,
They were enemies.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm talking about post the things that we did and the reactions and the results of
Yeah,
cause
they're.
and
You know what?
effect of what we did.
The Iraqis are just like the Ukrainians. As John Grammaticus says, one of the heroes in Ukraine is this guy named Bandera from World War II, who was a pretty nasty dude. But basically, when you got nobody else, you take anybody you can get. And so when we overthrew Saddam, the Baathists turned to their Sunni compatriots who they previously would have gladly put up against the wall because they weren't the Iranians. So you
Yeah.
force people to get in bed with people they wouldn't otherwise do because you're.
Let me just add one thing because I agree with you. Was the Anbar awakening, which was the next reaction to that
Just getting a drink.
when they realized it was better to take American money and kill off those guys that were killing their tribal leaders, who they fell to because of the situation you mentioned.
Yep.
So, no doubt about it. But it just shows what happens when, or it just shows what happens as a result of our adventures in Iraq.
I do have
But-
one question.
Yeah.
What does Aphid Lip think?
Yes.
What happened?
I didn't even listen.
I knew you were gonna claim you were sleeping.
I think whatever we're doing is working. I mean, could we expect it to be where it is right now? So
Well,
I'm cool with whatever they keep doing.
I mean,
aren't
here's
you
a question
concerned
for
with
all.
the threat of wider war?
Yeah, but I mean, I think the way we're pushing it right now, I think he's losing, definitely his standing in his own country. So, I mean, that seems to be the best thing that we could do.
Do you think he will accept military defeat on the battlefield, or do you think he will escalate with some more serious weapons, including eventually nuclear, before he accepts a loss?
I wouldn't put anything past him, but what's the alternative? You let him just take over and have Ukraine, and then he
I
does the
think
same thing to whatever
anything
he wants
short
next.
of if the nuclear
Words of
war is
wisdom.
the inevitable escalation, then even surrender is better for the Ukrainians.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
what's that say to everybody else that wants nuclear weapons, and we're trying to tell them they can't? When they see what happens when you do have nuclear
Well, do you
weapons.
think
We
Yeah,
never
get
want
away
to
with
find. We
whatever-
never want to get to that world. We never want to find out what happens
Do you
in a
think
world
it's
where
like?
nuclear weapons are used.
Do you think it's
Yeah,
likely
well,
that
yeah.
he hits the Ukraine with the nukes, being that it's practically Russian soil, or maybe something a little further away?
I fear that he's going to use tactical nukes in the near future.
Right.
And the Ukraine.
Not. I don't think he
In
will, but
Ukraine.
that's what he would use. He'd use smaller
like
nukes.
I said, I fear. I'm not saying that I think he will, but
Okay.
I fear it.
He won't. He won't.
He won't. Because
He-
the
I
whole
don't
world
think-
turns.
I
Well,
don't think you could
would-
put anything past
if he
him. I
does
mean, if he's
start
backed in a
using-
corner, I think pure
No,
suicide with proving a point would be
his
better to him
response
than
so far is
giving up and defeat.
conventional. He's going to raise troops. He's going to play the game because
If
he
he
knows
starts
he
using
can always
tactical
hop on a
moves-
plane and leave the country, and that's where it's at. This guy is under a lot of pressure right now, and
Here's
the
what I
beauty
think.
of it is he's not going to launch anything because the guys he gives the order to launch are not going to launch, and that's what it comes
Oh,
down
come
to.
on. You want to take that risk? I mean,
Right.
it's had
oops, we were
precedent-
wrong. We'll have to wait for
has-
the universe to reset in
It
2
has
trillion
precedent-
years.
It has precedent, though. Last dance, it happened in the last Cold War. They refused to fire
Who refused to fire?
Russian.
the submarine Russian submarine officers.
Commander.
You mean
Yes,
because
I
of that,
still- I-
that
I-
mistaken
No,
early
because
warning they got for the missile launch?
No, because they understand they have children and family and cousins and grandparents at home, and the Urals, which are
Yeah, but what
direct
baffles me,
response area.
what baffles me, going back to last dance comment a bit ago, which is, let's just get round. Why won't you be prepared to get round the table and talk, and see what can come out of the talks? And there just seems to be a reluctance on our side to be able to do
I
it.
can tell you right now,
Putin is
they're
asking for
talking.
this, Biscuit. He's asked to meet with Zelensky 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah, but he wants to do it under Putin's rule. He doesn't want to meet in a neutral zone. He wants him to go to the Kremlin. Do you really think he's going to go to the Kremlin? He'll get frigging shot dead.
No, he wouldn't.
I mean,
Not with the whole of the world
on top,
I mean, you can't blame Zelensky for not wanting to
talking.
go to the Kremlin. I mean,
No, they don't need to do that to have
They're
can have-
productive and
They
real
could-
talks.
They could have a talk over video conference. It's that easy.
Yeah,
but
they
he
do
won't
have
go.
for a
funds.
man
they
for
could
a
have
man
a
that's
Zoom
fighting
meeting.
for a man that's
Exactly.
fighting
They
for a
could
man
do
they
a
can both
YouTube.
come on the pub.
A pub, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll-
as for
I'll
But what's
post
the okay? Let's say they do meet. I mean, the outcome, the only constructive outcome is if he gives up part of Ukraine to Putin, right?
No, that's the final outcome. It's all about getting a read on who needs what and about discussing things and finding the boundaries.
But I mean, that's
of what's
the
acceptable.
only. That's the only. Yeah, but so let's say it's here in the United States. What do? You chop off, Texas? Do you chop off California? How's he tell his
I mean, you don't
the people that live in his
necessarily-
country where this
Honestly,
part of the
let me
country
just-
is
let me just say
One of those would
this.
Be fine. Yeah.
Let me just say this.
California. Boop, boop,
At this
bye-bye.
stage, you expect Zelensky, as he should, to say not 1 inch of territory.
right.
But you don't really know what he's really thinking. He doesn't necessarily want these eastern areas which are majority Russian anyways. They would kind of be, they're sort of unreliable anyways.
The more majority Russian now that the Russian soldiers have killed half of the Ukrainian population in them
Well,
areas.
I'm just saying, you don't know what he's really thinking. You don't really know what the bottom line is for him. You can't just rely on what he says because he's always going to say the most.
McGrande's
extreme-
muted, and he's really
Oh, it's
he's really involved with proving a
you can't-
point there.
You muted yourself, McGrath, because we can't hear you. Did you go?
just go.
Did you
I
lose your
can hear-
voice?
Actually, no. Wait. Yeah, he's good. You're good, McGrandy. Loud and clear. Good, clear. No kidding, really, guy?
Classic.
He knows I'm fucking.
You're a bad man, Steve.
I know. Judge Dredd reference. All right.
Yeah, it doesn't show that he's muted, but we
heard him before. He must have hit a button somewhere.
you're
I
muted,
think he's
McGrande.
now like upset because he thinks
There's a
I've,
red
like,
light on your,
I shadow
on your
banned
wire,
everything.
McGrandy. McGrandy, on your wire, on your headphones,
Yeah,
down by
plug
your belly. There's a red light. Is it turned off?
That red light's your missile warning system. You got an inbound
Oh,
nuke.
what
Go to the
hell
basement.
kind of
That better?
Oh yeah, there you are. There you are.
Well, we can hear you.
Oh, you have,
Yeah.
like you have a volume control
May not
in
be better,
between.
but you can hear me.
I think you might have
I'm just kidding, McGrand. I love you.
No, I hit the lower button on the.
Yeah,
I'm still getting used to the.
yes.
Yeah, the light's gone off now. It must
20th
go-
century.
It must turn
Yep.
red when the mic's
21st,
off.
maybe.
Let's not get ahead of yourself.
Dude, I've got. Oh wait, let's see.
Oh,
Okay, there we go.
the Catholic Church / Freemasons. My uncle was a Freemason. He's Jewish. He was Jewish.
Well,
Wait.
they don't allow those in there.
No, they do.
I'm
I've known a
kidding. I
couple.
don't know. Sorry. I was a Catholic for a while and
No,
more.
I had a Jewish dentist as a client, and he was a Freemason. And he told me wonderful things. He said there was like a special handshake, and they all wore like certain things on their clothing, so you knew who was who. And so
I guess to
you
say
could get an instant upgrade at the hotel.
I was a Methodist until I turned 12.
What were you?
Methodist Christian.
Oh wow, I don't know much about that.
It's like the Church of England, a little bit off. You're not a Presbyterian, but you're a Methodist. It's the same thing. You have the same gospel.
I went to is it Bible school, church school, whatever it was?
Yeah.
Sunday school.
Sunday school. That's it. Yeah.
CCD.
Did you get diddled?
That's what we
No,
had.
it weren't like that. We watched,
Hell no, he did the diddling.
we used to just play in like it was basically just free childcare.
Yeah, it's true that. Yeah.
And when I turned about 11, we watched Dogma on videotape.
Hey Lee, we didn't see you last week, right? Or
Yeah,
did
I
we?
was around last week, I think.
How about
Maybe
the week before?
Not the week before, no.
Were you mourning the Queen?
So, no, I think we were out. That was what it was. It was
Was she dead? Was she dead yet?
Ding
Yeah,
dong.
2 weeks ago?
He's probably celebrating Saturday.
Yes, 2 pubs ago. Not the last one, but the one before. She was dead for that.
Thank God all that's over with.
All time should
Yeah.
be measured in pubs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pubs and booze bottles. How tall are you? 6 booze bottles.
In the year of our 30th pub.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, without being
Things in terms
disrespectful,
of
it was
lap
like on the final Sunday, it was like, right, good. I'm glad it's all done now. Do you know, now we can get back to normal, so to speak, because it was 10 days of mourning.
I was
No.
sick of it. I use the news as something to like just watch when you're bored and there's no else to watch. And
Yeah.
we're all frigging royal stuff. I was sick of it.
Right. You were like,
Yeah.
where's all the stabbings? What the fuck? I wanted some
Yeah.
real news.
I just wanted
Oh,
some.
listen.
I wanted some Ukraine news.
I was going to say the war was like over, wasn't it, for like 10 days? You just didn't
Yeah.
hear anything about it.
For 3 days, all we got were fucking Q.
yeah, the people queuing. God.
You know, I'm not an apologist for Russia, McGrand. When the Ukrainians achieve success, it warms my heart, and it's just I'm very concerned about the specter of escalation and much more severe outcomes, including ultimately, I'm very worried about nuclear war.
Well, that's a reasonable consideration, but
Right.
we all have to. I've already processed everything, so I've already come to conclusions in my own mind, and to me, what they're doing in Ukraine is monumental, and it is historical, and it probably could, or it possibly could be the last mistake Putin made before he was thrown out.
Well, you know what I think
I'm
is
thinking coup internally.
what I
People in
suspect.
Russia are fed up with being poor,
No,
suffering, and everything.
Yeah, but
else.
McGrandy, you're basing a coup on, once again, Western propaganda, because there's about 1,000 people at the borders trying to flee and book flights. You know,
Right.
the whole population,
Actually,
the whole population is nothing, and yet the
Exactly.
West seize on it and go, "Oh, look, they're all defecting," but they're not. They're not. I mean, there's many people there that will be as proud about their country as you are, and they'll say they'll fight in the streets to the death if they are.
No, Lee, I will give you this. The Russia is vast and deep, and it is filled with people. We all know that, and they are a huge country and highly populated. But my point is that they are fed up too, because the old apparatchiks of the Soviet Unions who continue to hold power under Putin and his pseudo-Soviet control, they understand it's all bullshit, and it's been revealed on the battle front of a country that was part of the Soviet Union and that has successfully resisted them, and they're
with
shitting a
Western
brick.
weapons.
Because
with
guess
weapons
what? The
with
Russians.
weapons from the whole of Europe and the whole of the US.
Well,
I mean,
yes, of
effectively, you
course.
could say we
But
are at war already to a large degree.
nonetheless.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have
Yes,
been able
that's
to
true.
do that. They wouldn't have been able to repel them without that help.
No, well, I'm not legitimizing their successful defense. I'm just saying it happened. That's the reality. And you're right. That's the source of their defense. But what I'm saying is, for the first time, this little bitch is getting a bloody nose.
Well, let me
and
put it this way, Migrandi.
and
Let me put
and
it this
everybody
way.
in Russia knows it.
Let's say Russia rolled into the Ukraine and had taken it in 6 weeks. Yeah, and the whole of the country. How would the people like Poland have felt that are right there now on their border? How do you think they would have felt? And the whole of Europe, do you think that would have shocked them and scared them, and
Yeah.
would wanted to have repelled them? Well, now just put yourself in Putin's shoes then. If the UN go into Ukraine and start putting in army bases and missile silos and aircraft runways and everything else, can you not understand how he's feeling? Because if he took the Ukraine,
Yes.
the whole of Europe would be
I
quaking in
understand
its
that
boots.
completely. And the reality is all these actions are a direct response to his overt aggressive activity in the area. And for the first time in his life, he is actually up against a competent defense. He's done this before. Georgia,
But all he wanted was a guarantee
Armenia,
that the UN were
he's
not
done
going to
it
move into the
everywhere.
Ukraine.
He's done
That's
it
all he
everywhere.
wanted.
Chechnya,
Why
he's
should
done it
he have
everywhere. And
any
for the
voice
first time, he's getting
over?
a real defense.
Why
And
should
that's
he
what's
have any
making him have his shit fit.
Why should he have any influence over what sovereign countries are that are not part of his do? Only because of their geographic location, he's allowed to say you can't be part of the UN now.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
let me give you an analogy.
Yes.
When
Yes.
Russia wanted to put nuclear missiles in Cuba, actually Cuba asked Russia. We said no, you can't do that. What was our right to say what could go into the sovereign country of Cuba?
Okay, I'm sorry. Is the UN going to bring nuclear missiles?
Yeah,
Monroe Doctrine.
of course they will.
Well,
Not
Ukraine's
initially,
already.
and not initially, but over 5 to 10 years. Of course they would. Of course they would.
Monroe
Easy.
Doctrine, their last stance.
Well, Cuba doesn't subscribe to the Monroe Doctrine. It's just us saying we don't allow it because we're big and powerful. Which
and it was in our backyard, but
he has a backyard too.
I know, but the good thing is, I'm glad you're mentioning that because you're absolutely correct. Because guess what? The United States actually, in that deal, in the Cuban Missile Crisis, we pulled missiles out of Turkey in order to appease his pulling of missiles out of Cuba.
That's
so the
right.
reality is,
found
Ukraine, on the other hand, is a sovereign nation without nuclear weapons that's been invaded by Russia. So
right.
it's a completely different story.
I mean, if he does
Yeah,
get
no, it's not the same. I'm not saying it's the same. I'm just saying there are parts of your argument and others that have to be.
There are
we
parallels,
have to
no
see
doubt.
Are we pure as the driven snow? And
No,
in that
of course
regard, we
not.
have to look at ourselves and see maybe
Of course not.
we're not using the same principles that
But
we're judging them
I
by.
got to tell you this.
We're
You
not
have
as
no
pure as the
idea
driven
how much-
snow in Siberia, comrade. I'll tell you that much.
You have no idea how
You're,
much we're
you're
learning.
back to that movie again.
Also, just take this into account as well, because it's something that plays heavy with the Russians and their psyche in terms of, obviously, they're very distrustful of the West anyway. But when you do go back to World War II, Hitler signed a pact with Russia that he wouldn't invade them. And then he went back on that once he'd taken France and decided he'd turn his eyes to the East, and off he went. They lost millions and millions of people. That still plays on their minds today. So as much as the UN might go, oh, we're going to move into the Ukraine, you've got nothing to worry about. That is still their psyche. They still remember World War II.
Well,
you're
the
equating.
UN's already in Ukraine. They already are part of the United Nations. It's
No, they're
NATO.
not.
Wait,
Because if
Lee,
they were, they
you're
could attack.
equating
They're,
the
they're in the
United
United Nations.
with a deal that was reneged on by Hitler on Operation Barbarossa in Poland.
No, but
They invaded.
Yeah.
They invaded Russia.
Yeah.
we never made a deal with them. Okay.
No, but I'm
I'm
just
sorry,
saying
point of order,
it's in their psyche. When a country's gone to war and lost millions and millions of people,
Yes.
then they will never forget that. So
Well,
they may well
that's-
be. I'm not saying
true.
that we're going to be like Hitler and then trying to invade,
No.
but they get nervous.
You know what?
This is why
They will
he's
never
said for
forget that.
years. He said for years.
Actually,
you start
it's
to move
beautiful.
into here. So
It's beautiful you mentioned that because that plays into the psyche, the long-term memory of the Russian people. And guess what?
Absolutely.
They don't want any more war because nobody suffered more in World War II than the Russians. You could talk about all the people in the concentration camps and everything else, the Americans on Omaha
Well,
Beach.
I would say
Nobody
they would
suffered
have,
more than the Russians, and they don't want
no.
war.
I'm going to call that out. I would say the ones in the concentration camps have a pretty good case on that one.
They do, but
and Germany
my
itself
point is,
lost a
you're
lot.
talking
Of
just
course, they
basic
started
numbers.
the wars.
They don't count.
They don't count, but they do
No,
count. really.
I'd say the ones.
Of course, they count, but I'm talking
and
about
Buchenwald
true numbers of the Russian civilian deaths in World War II
Yes,
were monumental,
absolutely.
and the memory is far and deep, and they don't want
Very much
war.
so.
They don't want it.
But Grant, I think there's a lot of evidence that the vast majority, a huge majority of Russian citizens support this stupid war that Putin has started.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know
but
where
your
that evidence
contacts are
comes
telling
from
you?
because
What?
there's no way to gather that evidence. You can't take a poll in Russia and find out what people think.
Well,
Yeah.
they'd only fake it anyway if you did.
Yeah.
yeah,
All
but
I
you
can
see,
tell you is they're decent
propaganda on
people.
both sides.
They're
You
not
think they'll fake
stupid.
it, but-
They know what pain is, and they don't want it.
I think you underestimate the appeal of nationalism
Yeah,
in
me
not
too.
in Russia, in the U.S., everywhere. It's really a
Well,
cancer.
yeah.
I've
true.
not
Well,
underestimated
the
it
thing
in
is,
this country.
how many Russians are fleeing and they can't even get enough planes to get out of Russia at the minute?
A lot, but a trivial fraction of the number of
Look,
Russians.
Biscuit, you could relate to this, surely. I mean, or maybe you're younger than me. I mean, I was 12 years old, and Argentina decided to go and invade the Maldives, or the Falkland Islands, as we call them. There are a few.
Falklands, yeah.
It's a bit of rock off the end of Argentina. It's nothing hardly there. But I felt, even as a 12-year-old, from a national point of view, yeah, well, let's get the troops sending out, kick their ass, and get that. That belongs to us. So, like Last Dance says, I think, yeah, people get caught up in it, and it's our country, and we'll defend it till somebody shoots me. I just don't think you can do that. I think Russia. There's millions of Russians that are in favour of this.
Lee,
Whether they believe in all the propaganda, I'm sure they're being fed information, but don't think that we're not, because the same happens here. We're not here standing here with halos above our heads saying we're the righteous people and we're right.
Well,
We get
obviously
fed a
not.
load of we get
Lee,
fed
if
a
you
load of
want to
bullshit
tap
as
into
well.
the real people, it's when the bodies start coming home, and that's what's happening now.
They've been coming home for months now.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they have been, and we
And
have no way to
There's going to be
gauge
there's
the
going to
opinion
be
of the Russian people in general.
there's going to
we
be
have no
hundreds
way.
of thousands coming home soon
Yeah,
in
And-
boxes.
and the ones are not that we have no information on. So
See, I go back to what
That's-
last time said
that's when
earlier
it
on.
hits home.
I think this is like a bit tug of war. And now he's half mobilization. You'll probably see him winning ground back, or certainly securing what he's got.
And I don't think you will. Not with
I
untrained.
think you will.
Not with
I think you will.
untrained
neither.
I think it will.
forces.
And then in a few months' time, it will probably swing the other way again. I think. I just.
I think the
I think-
momentum's
the
there.
the,
Here's
the
the beauty of
Ukrainians
it.
are too well trained. I don't think they're gonna. They can't lose against untrained
Biscuit,
civilians.
win-
But
Winter's
but
coming.
Biscuit, he's not. He's not. I
Winter's
think
coming.
he's got a lot. He's got a lot more to deploy, and at the moment, he's not deployed half of what he could. I mean,
No.
you get a bunch of 3,000 soldiers.
He's
marching
already
somewhere. He
deployed
can take them
all
out
of-
if he wants.
He's already deployed most of his elite troops. He's got none left.
No, don't believe that. Please don't believe that. That's just not true. Just not true.
You know how they won the Battle of Stalingrad is they brought in the Asiatics. All of a sudden, these blue-eyed Germans ran up against a bunch of slanted-eyed Asiatics from the Soviet Union. So maybe that's what he'll try. But guess what? I don't think it's going to happen. It'll take too long to mobilize. We're coming into the winter. They're gonna freeze the lines. If anything, It's going to freeze right now, and there'll be nothing for the next 4 months, 5 months, except maybe some rocket attacks, because it seems that the Ukrainians have some far reach with rocket technology
Well, not only
into
that,
Mother Russia.
It's not just warfare and weapons. I mean, already now it's been reported Germany, I think, are starting to ration their gas. The Northern One line is now being shut down, or there's always technical issues, so we can't pump gas through.
that's
So
bullshit.
from
There's
an
no
economic
technical
point of view,
issues. He's just
well,
shut
of
it
course
down
he is.
to a bit.
Absolutely, but it's not. It's going to be fought on more than just on battlefields and weapons, because when
Come
industries
on.
can't run, when Volkswagen can't make cars in Germany and Mercedes Benz, then the people are going to start losing their jobs, and then they can't pay their bills, and so the repercussions are immense, absolutely immense.
There's been
The only thing that frightens me about that is going once again back to land starts, is that does the whole of Europe have enough? We're pushed into a point where we're all virtually starving and just think, well, the best thing to do is just invade them, forget what agreements there are, and then you've got a complete land war and then potentially a nuclear war.
I want to call your attention to the Germans. Remember, this is a country that excuse me, when the wall fell, they absolutely opened their doors and absorbed the whole of Eastern Germany and endured that. And in 10 years, they had completely reincorporated Eastern Germany into the Western Germany society. And within another 5 years, they were still the strongest nation in Europe. Don't worry about a little gas from Russia, because the Germans will make it happen.
Well, let me tell you something. This is news every day. They are suffering. They are suffering. They have got gas shortages, and they're even now they're looking to ration it. So it's starting to hit. It's just starting to hit. And guess what's now knocking on the door? Winter. So no, they're having problems, McGrandy. Honestly, you can look it up on Google.
Yes.
Just find out about them economically, and that they're starting to have to ration gas, and it's starting to bite. Now it's starting to bite.
Well, I suspect that if you look at the Gulf of Mexico, the United States, there's a couple of plants down there that were actually designed to take in natural gas exports. This was like 15 years ago, and what they did is, after the fracking and everything, and the abundance of natural gas, is they turned it into an export facility, and these guys can actually send natural gas to a level you cannot imagine, and these ships run on the natural gas, and it's kept like a sub-zero temperature.
Liquefied.
Yeah, liquefied natural gas. Thank you, LNG. Thank you. And believe me, there is plenty of infrastructure that we can get this stuff over to Europe if we have to. So it's a modern day.
It takes a while though to get all that.
Well, yes, it does. But like World War II, we can make things happen.
No, you're right. There will be, everybody will adjust. Both sides will make adjustments. Will,
the thing is,
things will change. Things won't stay the same.
Yep. And that's what we have is time on our hand.
As a kid fishing over in Boston Harbor at Castle Island, the big ass ships would come in, and Logan Airport was right there, and flying right underneath the planes would be a ship with the letters LNG painted on the side massively, and these ships were huge, massive fucking ships full of liquefied natural gas. I mean, these things, it's scary, man.
Ships just can't carry the amount of fuel that pipes can, though, can they?
They can't. But it always, as a kid,
liquefied,
I always think, man, what happens if one of those planes goes down into that ship? Are we talking like mass destruction here? Like,
no, I mean, everybody on the plane would be killed, and everybody on the ship would be killed. But probably it would just be a good fireworks show.
I don't know, Steve. I thought that as my potential terrorist attack weapon, and it was an LNG tanker. I know here in Fort Lauderdale, you run one of those babies aground and ignite it, it's going to be like 5-6 miles inland. Shockwave's the key. It's you don't even need.
Did you say you were contemplating doing this?
No, I was thinking of potential threats to the United
A bit
States.
like
Oh.
that.
As a patriot.
What was that? Where all that fertilizer went up, and that shockwave blew all the buildings' glass out, didn't it?
That was
Oh,
in
yeah.
Lebanon.
Yeah. That
Oh,
one
that-
Oh
was
yeah,
massive.
that one.
Was
That
it
was
Lebanon?
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It happened in Lebanon, and there was a
You
similar.
could even see the blast wave on the
Yeah.
video.
There was one of a rocket place that had rocket fuel in like Texas, and you could see that there was someone filming the whole thing from like a
I think that
mountaintop,
it took out the apartment
Yeah.
buildings.
and you could see the
Coming
blast
across the
wave
desert.
working its way across. It was.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
That's
it was
the thing. If you're ever filming and you see a big blast, get away from the window. Hold the camera
Yeah.
up and get behind a wall. Because
Oh,
that's the
oh.
sad thing on all those videos. When the shock wave hits, the camera hits the ceiling.
A lot of people were blinded, weren't they, in that blast in Lebanon?
Makes
Because
sense.
they went to the windows to see what it was, and shattered glass straight in the face.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. Liquefied natural gas is compressed to a factor of 600 over gaseous natural
right.
gas.
And the temperature, too.
Yeah, so now that seems like a lot, but it doesn't make up for a pipeline. It's just
Oh, not a pipeline, no.
it's just like having 600 ships go and it all fits in one ship. So
600 ships in how long?
how long? What?
How long of a period to simulate the pipeline delivery system?
I don't know what I don't know how much gets delivered via pipeline, but since it's continuous, it's it's probably a
What would it take to lay a pipeline from America to Europe? Like,
too-
I
Too
don't
much.
think there's ever been a
Well,
pipeline across an ocean.
They've done it with like internet cables. So why
Tons of
can't-
cables.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
those are
fiber
flexible.
Tons of them.
That the problem with LNG, it's got to be maintained at a certain temperature.
Back in the set.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
they
not-
have,
it's-
Well, he's
isn't
talking
it-
about not having LNG.
Isn't
Well,
isn't
they
it?
have just natural gas pipelines from Canada all the way down to
Yeah, but
some
it's
of the
not.
United States.
That's not the same.
Keystone Pipeline?
No, that's oil. They have
Yeah.
gas, and it's natural gas. And in fact,
All I know is on the tankers.
there's a compressor station that's going to go here in a town near here that there's huge protests about. So it's a pipe that, as the pipe comes down, you have to have compressor stations along the way, which pressurize the pipe to send the gas down to its destination.
Yep.
So this is a thing. It's happening.
Yep.
These are 1,000 miles of pipe. So UK is 2,000 away or so, thereabouts. So, I mean, it's not outside of the question. Putting it underwater,
It's impossible.
Too many variables.
it would
Well,
There's let's put it this way, there's no technology to do that today.
There might be,
underwater,
but-
but there is on land.
On land, yes.
It would also
best
it would
chance they
also
would
be a
have would
risk
be
from
across
Russian
Alaska.
submarines. If they did have the ability to do it, it wouldn't be feasible. I'm telling you, LNG ships are the best way to go.
And that'll happen.
For sure. But anyone who's ever been around any gas, you know that stuff is naturally prone to leaking. And
Yes.
Yeah,
there's
Yeah.
always gas leaks.
that'd be a danger to the ocean.
I couldn't
wouldn't
imagine
if you
it
put
under
in
those
there?
kind of pressures under the bottom of the ocean. It'd be
Dude, when I have the gas guys who have to come by to measure shit in my buildings, and they start measuring pipes that they're not supposed to measure, I'm like, just stick to the fucking pipes you're supposed to do, buddy, because every fucking pipe eventually.
Everything's going to have a leak, right?
That's how the nature of gas. It just eventually leaks, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I told
It's
you my
crazy.
system is, there's a small leak.
yeah. Do you smell it ever?
Sometimes I do. It's outside, so it's not a threat to the inside, but I do sometimes smell it.
Right, and it's on your side of the meter, so you
You know,
figure.
No,
they
and it's
actually
it's on the gas company side of the meter, so I don't.
Eh.
It's not my money, in other words.
Right.
I had a
They-
temporary gas leak yesterday.
Would you have Mexican the night before?
No, I made a fish in the oven and forgot to turn the oven off till early on this morning.
It's all right. There goes another day of the atmosphere just getting deteriorated.
That's right.
Yeah, I
Luckily,
did it with my gas grill at least 3 times. over the years.
luckily, because it was fish, I only had it on like gas mark 4, so it was it was on low.
Gas Mark 4. Wow, you UK people are so weird.
Yeah.
What do
that's-
you mean?
What's the temperature? Right.
I just look on the packet and it says gas mark 4, 5, or 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, isn't it your oven is could be 50 degrees different from your neighbor's oven.
Well, gas mark is like a unit that goes to a certain temperature, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but you're just following the dial on the thing, right?
Yeah. We do have electric ones as well that have a specific temperature on them, but
Interesting. Yeah, over here, if your oven doesn't work, you buy a $5 thermometer that you can put inside. If the oven thermometer is off, you can just adjust it, calibrate it per se by buying one of these aftermarket things that you just hang off the rack, because every recipe comes with the temperature.
Our gas ovens don't really have a thermometer, so they just have like a setting of how much heat is, like how much flame is produced.
The regulator, that's it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Gas regulator.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Gas Mark 4 is 180 degrees. I'm guessing Celsius.
Celsius throws another curveball into it.
Yep. 180 ain't gonna cook nothing over here.
Well, it was only fish, so it only needed like 20 minutes.
Coffee, I think, is right around 180 actually.
Yeah,
Like
now you're melting Celsius and Fahrenheit together, and Celsius,
Coffee,
180.
Coffee's 80 Celsius in my house.
Right, exactly. All right,
And
that's
then I take it down to about 40 with half a cup of milk.
180 Celsius is 350 Fahrenheit. I looked it up.
Oh. Seems like everything's about 350.
actually 356.
You're correct.
Never round. I hate when people round up things. Drives
Me
nuts.
too.
No
I always
shit,
go
man.
out,
That's
go out about 10
I don't think there's anything more annoying.
Yeah, like if you see on the news and they're like, someone says, "Oh, so they were like that." So this person was in this state for 33 days, and then like they switch over to the news anchor, and the news anchor says, "Wow, like 7 weeks," and you're like, "It's not, because it's only 32 days." Like I hate when people like round up on something to make it seem a little more dramatic or whatever. Or
7 weeks is a long ways from, what'd you say, 33 days?
Right.
I mean, that'd be 49 days is 7 weeks.
Exactly.
So
That's why.
Steve, I have the same problem when I file my income tax, because they want you to round, and I defy them all the time. I put that 0.0365545, whatever, like they drive them crazy. Of course, it ends up in a delay of the filing, which lately has worked out in my favor.
Anyone had to deal with the W-4? The new weird thing that the tax system is running off of. Has anyone seen this?
Is that the one where you have to make a declaration as to your withholding?
Yes.
It's completely confusing. It used
So
to be,
fucked.
yeah. It's been going on for like 2 or 3 years. It used to be, if you didn't want to have any problems, you file 0 single,
Dude,
and then
so
you're going to
fucked
get a
now.
rebate. But now it's like you end up paying taxes every time.
Now they essentially make you choose the percentage to be
Yeah.
withheld.
Yeah.
So you could be like anywhere from 12 to 22%. You don't know what to put down. Nobody can give you a clear answer.
Yeah.
Try to do this worksheet thing.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
No, the worksheet is the worst thing.
I don't get it. Why? Like when the IRS has all the information already, and they could pretty much just send you a bill or tell you, they still make you do this.
I hate to say this. This is a result of Republican control of Congress and their efforts to defund the IRS and confuse the whole process.
Oh, yeah. The IRS. This is from defunding the IRS.
Yeah.
which just is going to hire a double their work. They're going to double their workforce.
Right now they are. But we've gone through 4 years of people waiting 2 years for refunds. Come on, dude. You got to acknowledge.
That was from COVID. That they all did. They
No,
didn't work. It
please.
wasn't from a lack of workforce. They
Oh,
didn't go to work.
Oh
Right.
my God. So why is it necessary to almost double the employment of those personnel in order to have an
It's
efficient
very
system?
simple.
Listen,
The more
I
IRS,
just refiled
the
my
more IRS.
2020. I just refiled my 2020 because I found a mistake. And the reality is why didn't they find the mistake? Why did I have to pay more taxes? Because they didn't find the mistake. Because they're
What's
inept.
their incentive
And why?
to find a
It's not their
mistake?
incentive. It is typical of what has happened when you defund the agency. And you
It's
defund
not
the agency
typical.
when you're a multimillionaire worrying about an audit. And that's what's happened. The Republican control of Congress and their cronies who don't want anybody looking at them like our friend in New York State.
See, those guys
That's
will
what
all
happened.
get looked at with extra scrutiny. So it's not to protect themselves.
Well, what happened? How come he didn't get looked at? Now we have almost impossible. We have an indictment, a civil indictment.
Do you
So-
guys ever get? Do you ever get tax refunds? Like we'll get a letter through saying you
Occasionally.
paid
Sure.
too much, 800
You're-
too much tax
there's-
or whatever, and with a check
If
in
you're-
it saying.
if
There's
you're-
some
yes,
latitude in
you
how
do,
much
Lee.
you can have
if you're
withheld.
smart enough to have an old form like Steve was referring to, where you can guarantee it by filing single, zero. Zero means dependents or whatever. You
Yeah.
file single, zero, even if you're married and you have 4 dependents. You pay higher taxes and you get that refund for sure.
Right.
But you can't do that anymore because, like you said, they confuse the form. It is a travesty.
Wow.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some wisdom into. My accountant said, don't claim any of the child tax credits. Let them take the money, and then you'll get it back in a refund, and that would keep you from owing. But just in case, don't claim it because there's a chance
Yeah.
that if you claim child tax credits, that you end up owing money depending
No,
on how much
You're
money
not
you earn.
you're not
It's all
claiming
fucked
the
up.
tax credit. The tax
Right.
credit's a separate thing. What you're doing is you're claiming dependents.
The
tax
deduction. The deduction.
Yeah, the deduction. The tax credit is completely different. That's a beautiful thing because that's a dollar for dollar reduction in taxes.
But
the
he
other
even
one-
said don't
The other
claim
one
that.
is a reduction in income,
Mhm.
an application towards the tax basis. So the beauty of it with the tax credit, that's dollar for dollar against the. When you do all the numbers, that's the bottom line. That's you get that off the tax bill. It's a tax credit.
Right, that would be like if you were an independent contractor and you bought a truck. It's a literal write-off.
No. That's different. That's corporate. That's you're filing as a corporate. As an individual, you can't take those deductions.
Right, but you can if you are on a 1099.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That means you're not. Yeah. You're like a contract. Yeah, a contractor.
Exactly.
Do you pay tax on property when you buy a house, depending on its value? Do you pay
Yes.
do you pay tax?
Yeah,
The same as here, then. Yeah.
State tax.
Right.
You do pay tax, and there's also a yearly property tax in most places. Not all. I guess there are places that don't have property tax.
Right.
But as far as I know, that's a big thing. So, like a $300,000 home around here will say pay $4,000 a year in property tax. So that means literally a $3 million would pay like I don't know, I guess 40,000, right, or something like that. So
What-
like,
Yep.
What would
No.
what would $300,000 buy you house wise in the US?
It
on
entirely
Depends on
depends
what-
on where you
yeah.
are.
Right.
Here where I live, it'd buy you a lot, but where in New York or down by McGrande, it's not going to buy you nearly as much.
Yeah.
but
Right.
at 300 grand in Florida, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, you could get some nice stuff for
Yeah. Back then, not now. Things are even with everything crashing. It's like absolutely ridiculous here.
It's same here.
So-
It's all
Well, still, I mean, I think the difference between where he lives and Orlando was huge, though. Like Orlando, they were just giving giving the houses away.
So, Steve, where you live, if you
Uh-huh.
bought a house, for $300,000, how many bedrooms would that give you?
Well, let me put it to you this way. I could not afford the house that I bought 7 years ago. Now it's gone
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's gone up crazy
too.
amount.
I couldn't afford my place right now either.
So in my town, 300,000 would not get you a house at all.
Wow.
Like literally, there was a 600 square foot house up for 500 grand. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, tiny little, really cute cottage.
Yeah.
I mean, like the cutest thing ever if you wanted to live in a tiny home. But this thing was $500,000. And,
Wow. Right.
What kind of
probably
land?
7 years ago, that would have been $225,000.
Did Steve? Did it have land?
Small little plot overlooking
Oh,
a
shit.
tidal marsh, though, and the tidal marsh,
Oh,
absolutely a really cool thing to look at. The house is up on stilts, so
shit.
yeah, totally a funky little zone. I mean, I would say cool spot to live. Can't believe they wanted $499 for it, and that's like, geez, that's how crazy the freaking market has gone here. Yeah, like
So
my
I
lady
take
says, 300 would be a shack, like totally, almost unlivable.
Would
Wow.
it be a love shack?
Yeah, it'd be a little love place where we
Love shack.
get
52s.
together.
It'd have a tin roof. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Crikey.
you know what? Thank you for bringing that up, Aphid, like about Love Shack.
That was me.
I didn't bring it up, but I'll take credit for it.
No,
Screw. Oh, the
the
tin
tin-
roof.
yeah, because for the longest time, at that little breakdown pause in the song, I thought she said, tin roof pregnant. Like he said, you're what? And like,
She says rusted, doesn't she?
yes, I had those lyrics wrong for the longest time. Like,
Oh,
it was
man.
one of those like mishearing of lyrics. Rusted. I thought she said pregnant, and like, cause then you hear the guy go, "You're what?" Like, I thought it was.
Yeah, I
like,
get it.
I had it.
You thought
way
you
off.
thought it was that gay guy's kid?
Right. Then I knew he was totally flamboyant. So I'm like, these guys are an enigma, you know? Weird band like B-52.
I was kind of into him back then.
Yeah, I thought they were awesome.
I did too.
I mean, come
I
on.
like 'em.
Fucking Rock Lobster? Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
come on, great
Ooh,
track.
That
That's
was
like
not
su-
my
that-
favorite song, but
Rock Lobster's super old though. That was like 10, 15 years before they really got popular with like the Love Shack song.
Yeah, Rock Lobster, that weird guitar riff. How did it go? It was like,
That's back in like the mid 70s or something, I think.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Surfer rock, kind of Dick Dale style.
Mhm.
Classic.
I like They Might Be Giants back then. I was real into Love and Rockets. Of
Right.
course, the Pixies.
I like They Might Be Giants too.
Did you see? Just like each other.
Yeah. Love and Rockets, they had that song. Do, do, do. It was like,
The Long Legs or whatever. That was
yeah,
kind of
your hair
yeah.
is lying.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was like their MTV.
That was
song.
like their that was like their third album. That was like right towards the end of their career.
Who was that? The lead singer of the B-52. She was a good-looking woman.
There were two
Also
of them.
very was it? Oh, who am
Well,
I
yeah, there
thinking
was
of?
two. But
The redhead, I guess.
yeah, the redhead. She was. I thought she was cuter. I can't think of her name right now.
Oh, early. Yeah, I mean, they looked like they were hard living there on the road, I think, for all those years.
You think? They seem real happy.
They did seem happy. They were
Real
certainly
animated.
Content. They were content.
They had a lot of energy. Because they were pretty
Yeah.
old when.
No, people back then had a lot more energy than they do now.
Oh, you think so?
Back in your
Oh,
day,
yeah. Take it from me.
She was she participated in an REM song, believe it or not.
Yes, she did.
I
Yeah.
can't remember, but I remember the
Yeah.
music video. It was really cool.
Right. I want to say Carol something. What is her name? Now it's going to bother me.
What was the REM song she sang back up on? Was it like
Oh
Losing My Religion?
no, it's
No,
like
no. It was more of
people-
a upbeat. Yeah, shiny happy.
happy
people.
shiny people or something like
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
That was
I hate
it.
that song.
Happy shiny
Wow, you guys are good.
people. Do, do. La, la, la,
Yeah,
la,
she sounded good in that,
yeah.
I must have slept through those years.
more than likely. I never,
You were just
never
doing
a
something
big
else. You're probably
REM
busy.
fan. Never a big REM fan personally.
Well, I always liked them, but I was not like, enthralled.
Athens, Georgia.
Yep, that's where they're from.
Yep. Michael Stipe. No, I mean, I don't know why that song "Losing My Religion" won every award that year. I thought the song was kind of fucking boring, to tell you the truth.
I mean, I liked it, but it's not like it didn't change my life or anything.
It was whiny as fuck, dude. And like, there was a lot better shit out there at that time, in my opinion. Humble as it may be, but
Yep.
it's not humble at all. But they sucked.
Kate Pearson is the one you're talking
That
about.
sounds right. Yep.
She was cute.
Not bad. Any Bananarama
I
fans in the house?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it was good.
I don't remember that shit at all.
Fucking Random Goon played a Bananarama song last night.
Which one was it?
The most popular one. Was it Kiss You Once, Kiss You Twice? I think
Right.
that's Kiss You Once, Miss You Twice.
Yeah.
Where is the random goon tonight? Has he gone dark?
Yeah, he's probably gone to bed.
I don't
You
think he goes to
mentioned-
bed this early.
He mentioned something like there was somebody
Anyway.
else doing a show. One of his buddies was doing a Twitch stream or something tonight.
Yeah, I popped on it briefly. I followed the link through Twitter earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude was playing a game and chatting.
Speaking of other shows, did you send LDG a link to the new format? How you got your own channel now, Smokesteve? I was wondering.
Sorry, my audio went up. Hold on. Hello. All right.
I'm still subbed to that guy, and I just find it funny that he was always trying to coach you on how to get more viewers when he only ever has like 2 viewers on that thing that he does.
No, I haven't.
Well, he's just trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
He's been trying different things lately. Like he was real into like putting that Crowder dude. I can't think of that guy's name.
Steven Crowder.
Steven Crowder.
In the names of his shows for some reason. I guess he thought he'd get some people or something. He was feeling out the algorithms, I think.
Headline
And
is
when the
Louder
Queen-
by Crowder. The subtitle
yeah.
has nothing to do with this show.
I know. And when the Queen died, he like live streamed her funeral for like 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, he's working it out. He's working out the kinks, you know. I say more power to him.
Peaches.
I only support fellow YouTubers. I never tear down, and I hope.
Right. That's a good. That's a.
I hope the most abundant success for him and myself. It's not an easy thing. I mean, I'm sitting here with 8 viewers.
Actually, that's an opportunity for me to thank you for this excellent opportunity to make a fool of myself, Steve, and I appreciate that very much.
We all make fools of ourselves.
Yeah.
No, not me.
Right.
Is it time for me to get the
You
shade?
guys are on your own with that one.
We'll drag you down with us, buddy.
If he hangs onto your foot, kick him off.
As long as we don't have any Ted Cruz talk, I should be all right.
Oh, really? Theodore?
Let's talk about Teddy.
How about should we do more Martha's Vineyard talk? Beepity beep beep beep.
No,
This week,
wait,
Martha's
look.
Vineyard.
Here's the funny thing about Ted. Ted is a Cuban that was born in Canada, and
He wasn't. Oh, was he? How was he born in Canada?
he was.
And
born
wait
in
a
Canada.
second. When does
But
the
his
funny
parents
part
were
come?
U.S. citizens, right?
He was born in Canada.
I think it was on a army base or something, wasn't it?
Okay, because
Probably.
No, but check it out. Ted Cruz, Cuban, born in Canada. Figure that one out. But anyway,
Same
Well,
same
was-
thing is
that
true
was-
for the same thing is true for Trudeau.
I think it is true what he's saying though, because I heard that his dad hightailed it up to Canada after he got out behind that grassy knoll on that
Yeah.
one fine day
Right,
down in
right.
Texas.
Yep. But he couldn't hide from Trump because Trump found out about that. That he was there.
Right. And you know,
we all
something
know
from
the Cubans
learned
are
something
involved
from-
in the conspiracy. So
we learned something from Trump recently that you can declassify documents with
Just
a
by
thought.
thinking.
yeah,
With the
Right.
without thinking, yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, and it was a possibility, and even Sean Hannity was confused by this. That
No,
the
no.
that
Donald
they were
Trump
looking
is a
for
smart
Hillary's
man.
emails in Mar-a-Lago, and Sean Hannity was like,
And they were looking for Hillary's lost
Emails.
texts on her hard drive that were deleted.
right. What is there, an echo in here? What the fuck is going on here?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I guess not. Jesus.
Right, guys, I've got to check out.
Hey, it was good talking to you, Lee.
Yes. yes.
Night,
Yes.
Take care,
See
Lee.
you all. Have a good week.
You
See
too, Lee.
soon.
Have a good week.
Do well,
Yeah.
Lee.
Bye. 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 Bye.
See you, Lee.
Thank God he's gone, right, everybody? I'm just kidding with you, Lee.
Lee's
I
great.
actually-
Lee takes on he takes on everybody. I like Lee. He's
Yeah.
Lee
fiery.
does like the Ukraine talk, though, and he likes
Yeah.
to talk about Putin.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Comrade Lee, he knows
Yeah.
his shit.
I never-
Nostradania,
I
Lee,
never make fun of
Nostradania!
I never make fun of British pronunciations. 'Cause
Tovarish.
they're the English, so they get to say what things sound like in
They
the
ruin
English
this
language.
language.
By
They are
getting
the-
there first and inventing it, they ruin
Says
it.
They
you
are the
Americans
standard
who have-
that we seek.
It says you Americans who have to actually pronounce everything with like how it looks. You know, yeah.
Exactly. Like the street. There was what we would call a high street in my neighborhood. We pronounced it Devon. It was spelled Devon. Now you guys would say it's Devon. Probably when the street was first created, everybody pronounced it Devon. But then the person who created it didn't correct anybody, and the new people come along and look at Devon. So that's what it's called, Devon.
That a divan is what we call like a box bed.
Devon, yeah, that's an old school word. There goes Matt Grandy. Look, he's still there. This is awkward. Should I shut his camera off?
I don't know. I hope he doesn't get undressed.
Is this going to be like Austin Powers? We're going to see.
Oh, my God.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think he would have. He just went in there to. He just went in there to do something.
I don't know. That
You shut him off, right?
Yeah, he.
I just shut him off. That
Oh,
was
okay.
me. Now, yeah, I mean, I can still see him here. Oh, wait, he's back.
I think he was just shutting the light off.
Yeah, he was just shutting the light out.
Oh,
Just
He thought
shut-
you were going to get undressed or something, so he turned you off.
No, I was trying to get some AC in here. I'm in the hot room.
okay.
Hey, we got a hurricane maybe maybe Thursday.
Big
That
news.
that new one?
Yeah,
Dude,
That's gonna be on the the golf side, though, isn't it?
do your say.
we don't know because I can't do it. But
Yeah, if you
I
get
might
a
film it.
hurricane, class 3 or above, I'll get you. We'll do a live one-on-one for anyone who gets class 3 or above hurricane. We'll go live during the hurricane if you can, if you have internet.
Well, if I have power, yeah. But
He was gonna stream on Live Leak the hurricane the one time, but it kind of fizzled out before.
well,
he
I
had
didn't
the
stream
chance.
it, but I got a star for that one.
What about
Did
your
you?
generator, McGrandy?
Nah, it only powers essential stuff. The elevators, lights.
Can't you put one on the deck?
Nah.
But it wouldn't matter because his
He
internet.
has a balcony. He has a balcony, Smokesteve.
No,
He
I
doesn't
have
have
a
a deck.
catwalk. I'm on the balcony
Balcony's big
now.
enough.
Catwalk is.
You'll have to buy yourself a jackery.
But his generator wouldn't help the cable company keep the internet up.
It's.
Right.
It wouldn't be my failure of power. It would be.
Although, if he had satellite internet,
Uh huh.
But
You've got an answer for everything, Smoke
I don't
Steve.
have one of those phones though. That would be the key.
No,
Well,
all you need
get
is a
one.
all you need is a small receiver. Then you can have that
A,
as your
a
main internet.
Starlink satellite would work.
Yeah, Elon Musk, it's cheaper than it used to be for other providers.
HughesNet, I think.
Hughes,
Yeah,
the old
that's an
one, yeah.
older one, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other one, the first one. It's still up there. They still have the satellites. I'm trying to remember it.
I heard this thing. They got this new.
Direct TV.
It's another one. I can't remember the name.
Go ahead, Aphid. What were you saying?
It's not that interesting, trust me. But they got this new. They got this new camera that they built, and it's like 1 billion megapixels or something like that, and they're bringing it down to Chile to take pictures of the stars, and it's mostly to photo because it's infinitely better than even our phones. When we zoom up in on our phones, you can see it get degrade. But with this new camera, you can zoom up into anything, and it almost goes forever. But they're mostly trying to track small, subtle changes in the universe that happen day after day after day or week after week after week, so they can see what. And they said that the biggest problem that they're going to have is all the satellite traffic up there, because that's going to be a small, minute change. The reflection.
The space telescopes would be better for that, wouldn't they?
Well, Hubble.
You would think so, but I guess they have this down here in Chile. They have, and I know they used to have something down there. It was like, but I think that's the thing that collapsed a few years ago.
It's actually, you're right.
That was a radio telescope, not
yeah. Well, I know, but there must be something with down in South America that makes it
in
better
Chile,
than anywhere else.
They've got an observatory with a big, massive visual.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
A lot of the star.
That's all they have.
Orbit the planet.
Yeah. Right.
North to south. So maybe that's at the Starlink, because I've actually, on a dark night, actually been able to see satellites running.
Oh yeah. When we go on our float trips,
Yeah.
and you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can see them. I mean,
you can
it's
see
really
them.
visible.
They're cruising across.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see the same one, and like literally like 10, 15 minutes later, you'll see it go right past the same spot.
A massive event's happening with Jupiter in 4 days. It's going to be in perfect alignment with the sun behind us, and Jupiter's going to be at its closest point, which means you'll be able, if with just binoculars, you'll be able to see the lines on the actual planet.
I've been noticing often southern hemisphere, so I don't know if that's it or not. Obviously, you're in a different world than I am.
It'll be the bright
on the horizon.
It'll be the brightest light in the sky.
Yeah, it's pretty.
When is this again? How many days?
4 days on 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
29th. All right. That'll be what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday? Something like that.
I might have hurricane clouds over me, but do you know where it is? To the south, or?
I can't remember. I think it's to the west of the Plough.
Well, you know what? All we have to do is Google Jupiter, right?
No, you use the stars at night or whatever app it's called. And
Yeah, I noticed the Little Dipper's been moving farther south early morning.
Did you watch the track of the hurricane today, McConaughey? Like, where's it headed to go now?
It's still heading west. That's why I'm not too concerned, because
No, I don't think it's going to go on. I don't think it's going to really. It seemed like the last time it was like Tampa or something that they were thinking. Yesterday is what it seemed like.
You have to understand that it.
Well, eventually we'll come across.
No, I'm just saying the size of these things are not determined by the cone, so you can have significant weather, even if. And the dirty side is to the right, so the east side of the storm would be the dirty side. So, but so far there's been no definition in the storm that I've seen. So,
it's not getting as strong as they thought it was going.
Well, it doesn't have a defined eye, and the eye is off to the east, so it's sort of wobbling.
I watched it earlier.
It's got to go over western Cuba, so there's a lot of variables.
Earlier this week, they really thought this one was going to be a pretty big problem.
Yeah, they keep preaching it, but if you look at the water, it's hot. But there's one website I go to. It shows wind direction, and if I look at that, you could see the counterclockwise movement of the storm. But the the steering currents don't seem to be coinciding with those models. So anyway, I'm not too worried about it. But actually, I wouldn't mind martial law and a little bit of that stuff. That'd be good.
What did I just come in on? Martial law? What is that?
No, it's funny because my building, they're taking out our windows. My windows are over there, and half the building right now is got plywood in there, and the job is like your buddy's pool job. The contractors are not really keeping up to date on the speed, which I'm thankful for because it means massive inconvenience for me. So, but there's a large number of units in this building that have 2 plywood walls between them and the outside. And I'm thinking, holy shit, fucking hurricane comes through. That's scary, for them, not for me, because my old windows and wall is up. So I have all the confidence in the world on that puppy.
I think rubber chicks meant dudes. Forgot the
Could
S
be.
on that one. And yeah, we're
No, we were chosen because we're all male models. That's why we're on this show.
I know. I mean,
I don't know what you're saying, Rubber Chicks. You're welcome to come on and show us up, though.
I started out as a hand model.
what
Yeah.
up, rubber chicks? Welcome, though. Anybody who wants to show up and cap on our appearance, come on along. We don't.
Yeah, I hope Rubber Chicks does. That sounds like a good topic to go over.
rubber
Yeah.
chicks.
How hot we all are.
Yep.
Right.
So, McGronda, I see you're still just dyeing the hair and not the beard.
Just for men.
It's you're almost completely white now on the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. How old are you, McGrandy?
I'm going to be 65 in January.
I think you look damn good, dude.
Are
You
you
do look
really?
good.
Are
You
you
look better
really
than
gonna
I
be
do, and I'm
65?
5 years younger.
Yeah. Dude,
Man,
I've
I didn't
been
know you're
doing,
that. I didn't know you're that old.
I did.
Yeah,
I do. I've been since I've been retired. I've been bike riding, and I do a Hollywood ride. Hollywood is south of Fort Lauderdale. Margaritaville has a resort down there on the boardwalk. So that's like 40 miles round trip. Actually, it's 19 miles one way, so I rounded off. Forgive me, Steve. I rounded it off to 40.
so
Round
it's,
trip
it's
19.
38.
Okay, 38 miles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes
you'll
we
round,
do circles.
Steve
just
is
to make it 40.
disgusted.
But
you'll round up your trip mileage, but you won't round up
but
your
I've
taxes.
also been doing. Oh, Steve, you'll appreciate this because my water is warm, right? We were talking
Yes,
about
yes.
that the
Yes.
other day. I do ocean swims, and I don't go deep. I just parallel the beach,
Uh-huh.
and I do
That
maybe.
explains the white beard because of your sea bleached beard.
Nah, that's has nothing to do with it. But I've got these goggles I wear, and so I don't have the saltwater shit. But I parallel the beach. And the other day I got caught in a. I didn't get caught, but I don't know. I do like 3/4 of a mile round trip, and I got caught in a thunderstorm, and it was wild because the water is so warm. It's like 83, 84 degrees. But when it rained, thunderstorm, heavy downfall, it was like cold on my head. And the top 1 foot of the water was getting colder and colder and colder. It was bizarre. It was a great swim, though. So anyway, I do that shit to stay busy. And I used to do when I was young, and I feel young again. So
Yeah.
trying to stay in shape.
Good man. I like it. Yeah, I walk as much as I can. And activity is everything.
Yep.
Got to keep moving.
Yep.
And
Trying
last
to do-
dance. You've been doing your hikes this week. All good.
Yeah, I
How many
have a couple of
miles?
them. I've
Do you have your Fitbit or whatever your?
it's
thing you make?
just an app on my phone. I have my fastest times this week.
Good.
Copper T's
mileage.
comment.
I thought your hair looked a little winded.
Cup of Tea's comment, we have a 189 million year old ichthyosaur fossil that was found in Doncaster.
That's a nice fossil.
I mean, there's underneath every place there are there are fossils. You just have to come across them, or
What makes it weird is that Doncaster's quite central in inland, but an ichthyosaur is a sea creature. How did that
Yeah.
get it?
That was very common.
What's the
A lot.
topography like? Is it what's the
100
altitude
million.
like? They got valleys and
Yeah,
running rivers?
Doncaster is in a valley.
So it was probably flooded,
Yeah.
by other oceans millions
Well,
of
it was
years ago.
189 million years ago. It
Yeah.
might have been completely under.
The whole island might have been underwater.
Yeah.
How much does HARP affect your storms? I don't know enough about HARP to really.
It's a myth, basically.
That's true.
I mean, it's
I thought that sounds like a missile defense system in Ukraine.
No,
for
it's
uh,
the people, conspiracy theorists think that this is a program to modify the weather by the government.
Oh, okay. Wait, can't we nuke hurricanes?
no.
Ah,
Do it.
You're welcome to nuke a hurricane, but all you're going to do is spread fallout.
That's
You just
something I've heard that some idiot Americans actually fire like guns at thunderstorms, hoping that it can make a difference.
That might be.
Well-
Who does this? Idiot Americans or?
Idiot Americans, not
Oh.
all Americans, idiots in America.
Well, there's no shortage of those.
You just inject them with bleach, is what I heard.
yes.
Yeah,
Not bad.
horse paste will do it.
Yeah.
Let me show you with my Sharpie.
Horse dewormer.
Fortunately,
Well,
we're very
that's
smart
what
here
got
on
me.
this
Why
show.
do you call it a Sharpie when it's not even sharp? It's quite blunt.
Yeah, good question. Maybe because the colors are sharp.
Look, there's no processing for this, but all I have to do is imagine, and I can change the progress of a storm.
Yes. Okay. The little ultra fine point tends to be sharp,
Yeah, but they call a Sharpie the big blunt black markers, don't they?
right?
That was because it was invented by Mr. Sharpie.
Right.
Like Thomas Crapper that invented the toilet.
Exactly.
I really don't like the chisel tip. That's my least favorite.
Yeah.
I like the ultra fine. In fact, anything else besides the ultra fine point, it's bullshit. Useless, in my opinion.
A little less girth to your choice, huh?
I like the thin one, yeah, because when you're trying to write a small note or something like.
Well, you generally don't use a Sharpie to write notes. You use it to do a big board or something, don't you?
You tell people in bathrooms what time you'll be back. That's what they're used for.
Yeah, I'm a ballpoint guy. I like a medium ballpoint.
I used to be a fountain pen guy until it leaked all over me.
Oh no, too messy. But
Yep.
a good. I actually, I hate to generalize, but probably the best manufacturer of a ballpoint is Bic.
Nah, Parker.
I like Parker.
Well, Parker, but if you get the cheap Bic package and you don't get the fine point because that's worthless. You get the big one or the medium because sometimes you can't get the big one.
Surely Stedler is
But
better than Bic
They
as well,
will
aren't they?
leak, but
Stedler.
Bics are too blobby for me. That just drives me crazy.
they
Bic-
do
Bic-
blob.
Bics are just economy pens, aren't they? Really, just
Yeah, economy, totally. Low grade, lowbrow pen for Grandy.
Yeah,
You're a big man, huh?
but they make a great lighter.
Yeah, I guess.
so does Zippo.
No,
No,
no comparison.
Bic makes the best disposable lighter for sure.
Yeah,
I think they were the first to do the disposal.
probably.
Zippo is no good for ganja. You can't be smoking
It's
that.
it's because their bold point Bic pens were beginning to leak, so they needed to find another source of revenue.
Does petroleum lighters taint the joint if you use a petroleum
Yes.
lighter?
Yeah, the kind with that oil that you spray on the Zippos, you can taste that big time.
It's butane, isn't it? Or is it different for the Bics?
No,
No,
it's
it's
fuel.
petroleum.
It
It's-
is. It's fuel.
No, and we're talking about the Zippos that you have the cotton thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
absorb.
Yeah, the
You
World War II
literally
type.
squirt
I
this.
used to be able to snapping them open.
It's I believe it's naphtha.
It might be.
I think it might be lighter fluid.
No. Lighter fluid
is lighter
evaporates
fluid.
too quick. Naphtha is what it is.
Yeah, it
Naphtha
probably
is.
is.
Naphtha is a really fast evaporating solvent. I use it to clean some things in my industry. Naphtha is very, very. If that touches your skin, it's like icicles, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
That thing is. I don't think it's naphtha, homeboy.
That's
Zippo?
No,
right.
it's not. It's not
On-
naphtha,
on-
but
on-
I know
on
about
the-
naphtha.
On the bottles that we get, the Swan ones and the Zippo brand, it says naphtha. I don't think it's pure naphtha. It's
Yeah.
like a mix.
That's the problem. If you overfill it, it'll leak in your pocket.
Yeah. You only want to put a little bit in just to soak the cotton.
Well, it's good for home if you got to stash it someplace. You know, your lighter for backup.
I always hated those.
It
I
says
always.
it's
Go
it
ahead.
says it's lighter fuel is what's how it's.
Lighter fuel.
Well, that's not exactly specific to what actual it contains.
A Bic is wonderful for many reasons. In a dark area, you can actually just hit the spark and get light.
Now, my
know?
buddy likes these torch lighters.
It's butane.
He goes to another level with the torch. That's
That's-
butane. The torch is butane.
That's what I use.
The big
Is
lighters.
that what you use for your burners for every cigarette you light, or just for your
Well,
show? prep?
Lately, oh, that too. But I prefer these because they last longer. They carry more fuel in them.
The
Is that
only light,
refillable?
I think it is. Yeah, but
Under
I don't
pressure, though.
refuel it.
the only
need
lighter I've got.
you
is-
have a pressurized refuel, correct?
I have a rechargeable lithium-ion lighter. It's brilliant.
Look at you.
Hey,
I have electric. Yeah,
when you refuel that, it's under pressure.
I don't. They're like $2, so I just get a new.
Oh, really? They're disposable?
But they last like twice as long as a
Oh,
regular
shit.
Bic does. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually have another one that's Bic, and it's even a bigger. It's same principle, but it's even a bigger container, and it's probably 3 times as much, and it costs the same as a regular Bic lighter.
You know, it's funny is that's one of my that's part of my hurricane package, a package of butane lighters, because you have no idea how useful they are when you lose power, especially light
Right.
and everything else.
And do you,
Well,
McGrandy, on Super Ultra Backup, do you have Strike Anywhere matches?
no,
Yeah, those are important.
I know, but
I've got a box.
we
of
live with a moisture
shit,
issue
shit
down here.
branded safety matches in cupboard.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Mo-
you can
moist-
use the Strike Anywhere mattress on your tooth or
Yeah.
your the zipper on your jeans, which
it's you know what's funny? There's a chance I have to go to jury duty on Monday, and they will not let you take a butane lighter into the courthouse. This is a federal courthouse too. I've done it in the local, the circuit court, but they will not let you take a butane. I'm thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to stash a butane lighter outside if I want to have a cigarette on a break?
Up your ass, I think.
Take a
No.
box of matches.
Yeah,
They
it'll-
can't-
There's
they
already a
can't-
lot of stuff there. No.
Yeah.
They can't,
That'll set
Move
off
it
the alarm.
aside.
That's precious
well,
space.
wait a second. Let me
they
ask
can't
you,
detect a box of matches, can they?
McGrandy, when's the funny part happen?
The what?
Was that funny?
No, I didn't think so.
Well, we made it
Okay.
funny. We
We tried
that's
to help
what
them out. at
that's
the
what we
end.
do. We add funny to everything.
Now,
First Amendment-
what
I'm a
about
First
matches?
Amendment
Are
guy. You
those
guys
illegal?
go ahead. Have fun.
Are matches illegal, McGrand?
Matches?
I'm not sure, but
That-
they have a staple. They have a staple in the package, so it could set off the metal detector. I've seen it happen.
Remove the
One
staple.
little staple will set off the metal detector.
All the
Yeah.
matches I've ever seen are just in a cardboard sliding box.
He's
Yeah,
thinking, you're thinking about a match book, but you
Yeah.
can get those wooden matches inside of a sliding box.
I could probably do that, but I'm figuring I'll just go outside and check the hedge, and
Mr. Miyagi, it.
I'll stash a butane lighter in there.
Wait, he didn't start a fire with that.
Come on now. That's your.
Come on.
Come on. I was
That's a good
on a
point.
roll.
Yes, you do. You just bring in a flint and a stick and just stash some kindling outside. No one's going to steal your kindling.
That
He
should
was
be
just
interesting.
warming his hands to
You're still
rub
thinking about
off-
it, huh?
to rub Danielson's injured quadricep muscle or whatever the fuck it was.
You got the point.
Anyway, I think based on the fact that it's federal court and they're pussies, they'll probably cancel all court hearings for the next 2 weeks because, federal judges need a vacation too. So
Interesting.
Yeah,
Naphtha and palm oil. Okay.
that's believable.
I mean, if it isn't, it's pretty well put together theory.
Is the palm oil thick?
I thought napalm was made of jellied gasoline, so
yeah, has to have a
interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too. Yeah,
has to have a
'cause
gelatin and like
you
soap
can't get
in
it off of you. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Pretty nasty stuff. Great weapon of war, for sure.
Yep.
And it seemed like they had some kind of an explosion that if whatever the vehicle plane was delivering it, the napalm would travel in a line, creating a 500
Yes.
feet of an inferno, which was, if you could do it correctly, couple well-placed ones, you could kill
Yeah.
hundreds, thousands of people. Jeez.
Yeah, if you remember, they would tumble.
Right.
The ordnance would tumble, and
They
when it
didn't
would
have
hit the
they didn't
ground,
have
it would
stabilizing fins intentionally.
yeah,
Right.
and it would just carry on in the momentum of the projectile.
Cup of tea, I believe you. I'm just saying that's what I heard. That's what I thought.
Sounds right to me.
The one of those things they talk about with that is it's not just the bird effect. It's effective, they say, against the underground bunkers because it burns up the oxygen in the area.
Is that true? I think you're thinking of a fuel air munition, which is not quite the same.
No, that's another. That's a detonation device, but it may actually consume fuel as well. But napalm will too because it's just a massive fire, so it has a oxygen demand.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
It may be very well true with what they were talking about. And then you got the Willie Pete stuff they're using over there now, which the Israelis use in the Palestinian areas and the Russians are using over there. Where that I think the Russians are using it.
Is that a phosphorus bomb?
Yeah, white phosphorus. I think the Russians are using it more for agricultural destruction.
Ah,
They use it in the cities, though.
interesting.
But it's easy to identify. It's like fireworks.
Who's
See,
sprinkling away? What do you guys have?
It
Oh,
sounds
it's
like
me.
he's like
do
you
you
into a
got?
candy bar.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
got
I knew
links.
it. That's what my guess
Yeah.
was because it was
But
like
I got-
tinfoil around
I
a
got
candy bar.
busted, so I'm not going to do it.
What percentage cocoa is that? Let me see.
It looked like
70%.
Yeah.
It was
70%.
that was
Awesome.
a nice looking candy bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
go
good.
for it.
There's not a lot of sugar in that, so don't feel guilty because
That's
you're
the-
not. You had a tiny drink, so your drink now is chocolate.
I think we get the same stuff from our local Lidl and Aldi.
Oh, that's good shit, man. That's good.
It's
shit.
I think it's a Swiss company.
Yeah.
Lint.
I've been doing lemonade in my old. I juice a lemonade and put some sugar in there with ice and some water. Awesome, man. It's a real effective tool to reconstitute after a long bike ride and dehydration. I
Very
love
good.
lemonade anyway, so you can only imagine how wonderful that is.
What did you say? Lemonade?
Yeah, I juice a couple of lemons, put them in there, some sugar and some ice, and then pour in water, shake it up. Oh,
Good stuff.
No alcohol in that.
no.
You
You on the wagon?
No, I already had like 10 beers already, man. I'm drinking water now.
Only 10.
That was a water
Yeah,
bottle,
well-
wasn't it?
My wife ends up, she has a bottle of wine, but she ends up helping me out with my brewskis.
Is your mother-in-law still around?
No, yeah, she's down there, Columbia.
Can she still come over and drive you crazy?
No,
I was always amazed. I was like, man, what if his wife sees him going off on his mother-in-law on these videos?
no, she
He
understands.
probably does it in front of her.
She understands completely. And it's funny. I see these videos of these troops in Ukraine coming back and seeing their mothers and shit, and I'm like, fucking old people in the third world are all the same. Pretty
All
interesting.
babushka ladies.
Yeah, it's like, you know, but they all have that same intensity. Like,
Dude, not all of us look as good as you when we get to be 65.
well, thank you.
Or
But-
when we get to be 60 in my case.
There's things that, like, in the culture, and when you know individuals, you end up, even though you don't understand the language, but you start picking up on them, like horrible, terrible, muy malo, which is
Is that what
horrible,
they say
terrible,
about you?
so
Horrible,
bad.
terrible.
Yeah, not me, but life in general. So how are things going? Horrible, terrible, horrible. And you end up that most of these people are true blue drama queens, is what it really comes down to, you know?
Okay. Wow.
What was your mother-in-law's main complaint about you?
I was terrible. I was rude. And,
I
dude,
can't
this-
imagine you being rude.
well, I got to tell you, there's certain distinctive characteristics that I'll try and explain. For example, my wife has a BMW, and the door locks. No, it's not that. The door locks are strange on BMWs, that you have to pull them twice to open them. And what she would do is pull it once and lay into it and try and, like, bend the handle. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Same
Yeah, I
thing
had a
with,
buddy who had an old VW Jetta that drunk people had ripped the handles out so many fucking times. The guy had like
The
a
other thing
stroke
is just-
yelling at everybody, "Stop fucking ripping the handles out!"
the other thing is, like, in the middle of the night, I could hear the sink and I could hear the closure of the faucet. Okay, normal person would just close the faucet. Instead, it was or a drawer.
It's called a
drawer
tap.
or a drawer being closed. Instead of, it would be
Like,
Are you a light sleeper?
She was
no.
hard
But
on
what
stuff. She
I'm
was hard
getting
on
at is wear and tear. Wear and tear. In fact, I got to tell you, I got to change faucets, light switches, all kinds of shit after she left. I shit you not. Wear and tear.
Basically, when you live with someone, sometimes and you don't choose to, they can get on your nerves, and everything they do.
Well,
What the rest of us sound like little insignificant things can seem like giant problems.
Well, you know what? There may be some truth in that. Perhaps I accentuated them, but they were deeply embedded in my memory because of the release of adrenaline that occurred when I heard them. But yeah, you could be right with that.
That's
Well-
not the case with me. I'll tell you. I have patience for a lot of things. That's
You
Well,
seem like-
God bless you, Steve. I appreciate. I really give you. I'm happy for you, man, because
you have to. You have to go
Yeah,
through life with
yep.
patience.
it's like the guys I see that have like 5 kids, you know, and they're like the coolest dudes. Nothing freaks them out. They're like fighter pilots, you know. Nothing freaks them out, and I'm like, I have a lot of respect for people like that, but I'm just not one of them.
I'm not one of them either.
Yeah, I'm very, very laid back when it comes to.
That's a good thing. You should have more children then, Steve.
No.
He's not
old now.
insane. He's just laid back.
Too old now. I've learned patience through my years.
No. You're never too old. Maybe your wife might be too old,
That's-
but you're never too old.
I'll tell you, Steve, and I think Last Dance will agree with this, and Aphid maybe should listen in. But the reality is once you have kids, you got them forever until you die.
Yeah,
course.
we know. Everybody who's had kids knows that. Unless you're a real bastard.
Yep. Which I'm getting a little close to.
Well, are you thinking of having kids, or are you just thinking of becoming a bastard?
No, I've been fantasizing about getting a rig for my bicycle and just like taking off.
So I'm not suggesting anything, Smokesteve White.
Not coming back, huh?
I'm thinking of the owner of what was called the Washington Redskins at the time, and he was like 82 years old, and he married like a 35-year-old, and she got pregnant, which was
I definitely be going for
many
the
of
DNA
us
test on that puppy.
sleazy guys were saying, "Wow, that's impressive."
Impressive.
Hey,
It's horrendous.
wait till you get to be 82 years old,
Well, I mean, what
If I
did the
make it
kid?
to 82, I'll be like, fucking A, kid.
No,
They-
Smokesteve.
They
I'm
were
not
all
saying that.
wrong. I made it.
What I want to know is, did the kid come out with the same characteristic as this 82-year-old man or whatever he was?
Yes. Wrinkled skin, a cigar. It was just terrible.
Because my first guess is it wasn't his kid.
Yeah, he tried to disavow the child.
Oh.
And he got divorced because she wouldn't have an abortion. I mean, this guy was just an asshole.
Did they have DNA testing back then?
They had blood testing. They didn't have DNA testing. But she said,
Oh,
I'm going to have blood testing and any other testing, and we're going to prove it's your kid. It's not going to be hard. So he said,
Gotcha.
"All right, here's the deal. I'll pay.
She said, "How dare you?"
I'll pay you $5 million a year. Just get
Why
out
did
of
he
here."
care? He was at the end of his life. Why
And
did
he was
care if he's
fabulously wealthy too. It wasn't like it would be a hardship on him.
right? Just put him off to boarding school and
I think he
never worry about it.
He expected her not to get pregnant or to take birth control or something, and he regarded it as no, guys, no, I don't believe that at all. If he should stick with the woman he loves forever. I'm just saying that he can't say he's too old to have children. That's all I'm saying.
You were speaking in biological terms.
Exactly. I'm not recommending that he do that.
And
Go
anyways,
ahead. Have fun.
Smokesteve's wife went it through model into, which was funny, like younger model. Like, come on, there's no fucking model that's going for me, babe. I mean,
Hey, how many of these rich guys just take their wife of 30 years, and when they're billionaires, they just toss them aside and upgrade to someone who's 30 years younger than them?
Is that common? I don't know.
It seems very common.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, I can't understand it. How could
Money corrupts. That's why.
So I always think less of those guys. Bezos is one that did this recently.
Bezos, but I mean his actual wife that got 150 billion or whatever was a very attractive woman, and
yes,
the new one wasn't really like.
She's pretty good looking too,
but I mean
he's a goofy looking dude though.
He's a fucking loser.
He looks like a goblin.
Yeah,
he's got
Bezos. He can't buy good looks.
He's got hundreds of billions of dollars. That makes sense.
Most of those guys are goofy looking. Bill Gates, even Elon Musk, he's kind of goofy too.
Well,
like his mannerisms and everything. He's just a goofy
he's got
dude.
the Asperger's or whatever.
But he's all right.
Yeah, I like Elon.
You like pickles on that Asperger? Come on, that's not so bad. It's not great, but it's good enough for a chuckle.
It's Asperger's.
Hey, I go to the Walgreens to buy cigarettes because they're the cheapest ones, and I have to walk.
Oh, they sell them at Walgreens down
Yep.
there? They can't sell them at pharmacies in Massachusetts.
So I walked over the bridge and got them, and sometimes I'll go down to the beach area because I like to see the restaurant. I see them during the day, and they're all dead. But at night, everything's like crazy down there. And I went down there the other day, and I figured, I'll have a cigarette down here. And it's got benches. It's sort of nice. And I'm walking, and some chick grabbed my ass.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, there were 4 of them. And I saw them before. And this chick grabbed my ass, and I turned around, and I go,
demoting your last dance.
I said to her, you realize that's battery. she looked at me and like sort of like melted and like fell into her friends, and I just turned around and left. But that was a high point. I told my wife. It took me three times telling my wife for it to get through to her that someone grabbed my ass. It didn't seem significant to her, but
Just going on a limb to think that
Are you sure they didn't pick your pocket?
no, she was. She was
Check your
drunk.
wallet.
She was drunk, but it was a high point for me, Steve. I sort of enjoyed it.
Did you ask for her number?
No.
He's got little do you guys know he's got $100 bills just pulled out of his back pockets.
His pants are made of $100 bills, sewn together.
I got a question to ask you guys. I've been thinking about this last week. Came across my mind. Did you guys hear about the here we have a huge problem with Hyundais and Kias being stolen from our city?
Yeah,
because they don't.
Why would
they don't?
Thank you, cup of tea.
Why would they steal them? They're not worth a shit.
Yeah, I don't
it's
like
because
those
they
cars.
don't have the. My buddy's in the stereo business, like to put stereos and stuff in your cars, and he says that they don't have the same. First of all, like the steering wheels don't ever lock. And they don't have the mechanism or whatever that is like a theft prevention thing. So all
Like
you
a
have
good
to do
alarm?
is anything really. And
No, they're hacking the keyless entry.
Well, it's that too, but there's a lot of things. There's there some of the like St. Louis is now trying to sue Kia and Hyundai to force them to do something about this because it's a huge problem here. Because all these cars are getting stolen.
And they're blaming the car manufacturer because their city's full of criminals that like steal cars.
Right.
Dude, they're all over the place down here, and the reason is because they look nice and they are a cheap, a less expensive alternative to anything else.
That's right.
And I'm talking $5-6 grand on a new car. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, they're not that cheap.
And they've had
Well,
recalls
they're
on
not
their
that
engines, Kia in particular. So like some of the Echo, for example, the Kia Echoes,
The Echo.
they got,
Echo.
yeah, they got to replace the engines on those puppies. So, yeah,
I do like
what
the
you
Kia.
get. There's a reason for them being less expensive.
Yeah.
So last dance, I take it your vote for they shouldn't be the car manufacturer shouldn't be held liable for the.
Of
for
course
these
not.
thefts.
You want a range of prices. If you want to pay less, you should have an option to pay less. You don't want the city of St. Louis saying, we're not going to allow you to sell cheap cars. You got to upgrade them with $2,000 or $5,000 worth of anti-theft systems.
Right.
Okay, I'll just have to steal one myself then, I guess.
What you got to do is have a boot that you can put on every night. That's the secret.
You sleep with boots on?
I try to.
Oh, on your
That
car,
was-
you mean? Oh.
That was better than the Asperger's joke, I thought.
Well, you know, I'm the guy with the dad jokes, so you just, you could push a button and silence me, but I'm going on.
Uh-oh, not everybody look at once, but I think Smokesteve's getting that long-distance glare that he gets
No,
when it's almost time to go.
No, I'm reading Paul Greystone's comment. I've been at many births in sorrow, animal husbandry on the farm, cows, sheep, pigs, back in the 1970s. What is that?
That looks like, I think it's 3 haikus he put together is what it is.
Yeah.
Am
That's
I
a
missing
haiku for
something
sure.
earlier?
There might
Oh,
be a
okay.
misspelling on the sorrow part.
I've supported 5 women on abortion.
Well, women is spelled wrong. Unless woman is something I don't know about.
Well, we don't do, I misspell things all the time, so I don't judge on that.
No, Paul's showing his street
How
cred.
do you spell sorrow like?
Well, I don't even see.
SORROW.
So
No,
it's not
it's
spelled
probably a
right.
word that's similar, but nothing to do with sorrow. Many births in or on.
Maybe that is an expression. It's Latin.
I think he means he's attended many births on a farm, like animals, cows, sheep, and pigs.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not Ann. It's
Though-
Ann.
Then one has to wonder what the relevance that has with anything we've been saying.
Well, anybody that has animals understands the sorrow.
Well, there's this.
I'm a man of constant
There's
sorrow.
this comment here.
That's what I was saying. Where did he put that? Because I'm not seeing that.
Constant
That's
sorrow.
further-
Oh, that's up at the top.
It's
Isn't that
highlighted,
mo-
dude. Come
that's
on.
That's the great movie of those guys escaping from the penal camp.
Highlighted,
colony.
no.
Yes, that's part of that soundtrack.
constant sorrow.
I always forget. Is Paul Greystone our friend from Discord?
Yes,
Okay.
he is free.
If it wasn't for Paul Greystone, that place would be a ghost
It'd
town.
just be just
So
crickets.
thank you, Paul Greystone.
Otherwise,
Wait.
it'd just be crickets and tumbleweed.
What is that free man
Yeah,
on Earth?
yeah,
Oh, okay. Well,
on the land.
I agree. He is a source of constant entertainment.
I mean, I'll say it here because I don't know that it matters. I mean, well, whatever. How do you support them?
Wow. 10-13. All right, guys. I'm going to head out.
Is that
Uh-oh.
late for you over there?
He's 65.
I'm getting
6
sleepy.
o'clock p.m.'s late for him.
I didn't have my nap, and
He had dinner at 5.
Oh, I had
Yeah,
my
I
nap
did.
today.
You're a lightweight, my grandy. It's,
I know, I
it's
am.
3:15 here in the morning.
Hey, McGran, did you start collecting Social Security, or are you waiting until
yeah,
67?
I did. No,
Okay.
38
I'm
mile
taking it.
bike ride and
I'm thinking of going
40-foot
back to
swim.
work next year and shutting it off, but we'll see.
Okay.
All right, good. Have a good swim.
Hey, take it easy. It was great having you on, McGran.
Good to see you guys. It was
See you,
really
buddy.
good to be here. Appreciate
All right,
it very
well-
much.
We'll see you on Discord.
As you used to always say, McGrande, be well.
Yes.
well.
Continue being well.
I got to figure out how to shut it off. So
I think Smokesteve could help you out with that.
Nah.
Yeah.
There
he's
you go.
got a button.
All right. Hey, look. And look who just showed up on the wee
Oh,
hours.
Martin.
over there.
Outstanding.
Marty, come on in if you want.
He's always a load of fun, if you know what I mean, fellas.
Ah,
You know, he reminds me. There's this British show that was on a few years ago, like 2015, that I just love. It's called Detectorists. I mean, it's just a marvelous show. It went for 3 seasons, but he reminds me of one of the main characters on that show. It's every time I see him, I think that could be Marty.
no kidding. Love to get the old boy on here. We're quieting down a little.
What happened to Topple? I saw he was on here when I first.
He couldn't get his
Logged
mic to
on.
work.
Oh, it never came. He never came around.
Came back on.
I
Or
think
that
It wasn't working because he had it muted on the StreamYard.
no, that was after it wasn't working before he needed
Yeah,
it.
but when he came back, it was still muted on StreamYard.
Yeah,
I guess he just wasn't into it.
that's what I think was really the case.
Mm.
It's like one of those, he's pretending you can't hear. What's that? I can't hear you. Bad connection. I'll call you back.
Yeah, he just.
And he said to his wife, "Phew, got out of that."
It was probably because I wasn't on. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have been. He's aloof. He's aloof sometimes. I'm not sure where Paul Greystone with the animal thing. But it's very interesting, Paulie. I like it. Some mothers died at birth on the farm. He is true.
Oh yeah, that goes right into what we were talking about. I think. Farming
Detectorist.
stuff.
What does that mean?
The characters are they're amateur archaeologists, and they like to use metal detectors to search for buried treasure.
I love metal detector videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Great
That-
stuff.
I got one.
This is a very good
There's a guy
show.
on
That's
TikTok-
kind of the background to the characters. It's not.
There's a guy on TikTok that does live videos, like in English countryside, just detecting stuff.
I don't do TikTok. Chinese government, bro.
Yeah, I don't do TikTok either.
You're only watching it. You're not putting stuff up there.
My
are you?
biggest problem with because I get tricked into watching TikTok videos because
Tricked.
at lunchtime. Well, not tricked, but yeah,
Porn
kind of
hound.
tricked. At lunch, me and Mrs. Lip, we have it's MSN, like their homepage. They have all kinds of different stories, and you click on them, and it could be like top 50 best beaches in the United States to some good recipe to some crazy video that happened the night before or whatever. And a lot of times it'll build it up like it's this video you gotta watch, and it's always these TikTok videos, and they always have the same song in the background. It's like something like oh no, I can't even do it, but it's just
Yeah,
really
yeah.
annoying.
I'm familiar with that one.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? It's
only-
completely annoying.
Only problem
Very.
with TikTok is it's friggin' addictive as fuck. I start watching videos and like I look up and like 4 hours have passed. Like, what the fuck?
I'm like that with YouTube, but not TikTok.
Yeah, I don't. I've never found the slightest anything slightly interesting on TikTok.
Me neither.
Yeah,
not
you're
once.
not looking in the right places. I like.
I
I've
must
never,
not be.
I've never looked on TikTok. I'm just looking at somehow these shared TikToks that
I like watching mostly people like singing and stuff like that, and a lot of comedy singers as well.
Sounds
Doing
sounds
parodies.
thrilling.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not that.
You've
thrilling.
You're
you've
not
made me
selling-
want to go
you're not
download
selling
it
it.
tonight.
You're not selling it for me.
I don't need to sell it
Biscuit.
to you. It's just something that I like.
Yeah,
You have
a
to
lot
like
of
things that I like and nothing else. That's my rule.
Or the other thing with the TikTok videos that is common is they have the computer generated voice like talking over.
I hate
Why
that.
not just say it yourself?
I
Unless
know,
it's
right?
ripped that they ripped it from somebody and just are uploading it to TikTok. I
That's
don't know.
part of
Because
TikTok.
I want to remain anonymous.
That's part of TikTok.
But they're showing their face and everything, so why not have their?
I'm not very
It
smart.
makes no sense to me whatsoever.
A lot of TikTok is just people mouthing to other people's audio. One that I do like
You're
is
still not selling it.
Yeah.
one that I do like is two dogs in like opposite gardens. I'm like, hey Dave, yeah, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, I've
Fuck
seen
you
those.
too, buddy.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I mean, I haven't really. You know, people. The algorithms that TikTok has are gonna tailor videos for your interests.
Yeah.
So, I mean, essentially, they're just.
You've got to like and follow things that you like so that you get shown more stuff like that.
Twitter feeds me nothing but extreme right wing stuff.
That's because Twitter is.
Man, there's a lot of extreme
right-wing.
left-wing stuff too. It's pretty.
I don't get any. I don't get any
No.
left wing stuff. But I think it's because all the
You know why?
people I
Because
follow
you like to
are-
comment on the right-wing stuff.
Well, I don't comment on anything really, but every day TikTok
So
sends
you commented
me.
on a lot of Trump stuff.
I did back in the day.
Yeah. So you're probably lucky he's been kicked off because your
That was
blood
my
pressure's
only-
probably lower.
I felt like I was releasing energy.
You had great comments though, so yours were outstanding.
But yeah. Oh, speaking of, I invited Hayden on here tonight, but apparently he's not going to come on. But
Oh,
he
yeah.
popped on. He popped on Facebook. I noticed and said he hadn't been on there in ages. And I was like, yeah, I heard Twitter isn't being too
Facebook
kind these
Live?
days.
Live?
No, just on Facebook itself. But I don't know if I've ever seen him post anything on Facebook. So I said something to him, and he actually got back with me. But he said he's realized how much life how much of his life he was wasting on Twitter.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I hadn't had anything to comment on recently from Aiden.
He's suspended.
He's suspended.
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So he's gone. I don't think he's going to be back on Twitter ever.
He's got all those followers.
It's the
He's
second.
got over 10,000 followers. So
Maybe it's a week, right? First is a day, second's a week.
I don't know if it's his first time though.
No, I think
feel like
it's
he
the
got-
second.
this is at least
Yeah, I
the
feel like he got
second.
kicked off before.
So I'm going to say first 1 day, second 1 week, third permanent. So
And what about Graham? Has anybody heard? Does he get on Twitter or anything? What's he do?
No,
He never
right?
posted much because I followed him and I only seen like one post in a year.
he doesn't.
I think last thing I heard from Graham was when he commented on one of Hayden's posts.
Because I haven't seen him, and I always liked that guy.
Jeez,
Yeah.
He seemed chill. I liked him a lot, honestly.
Absolutely. He's a cool guy.
Nice. His lady used to join us. What was her name?
Oh yeah, I can't
And
remember.
I know he had a cute little daughter, so I always.
Yeah, Sophie, that was his
Yeah.
wife, I think.
Sophie,
Or, I think it was his girlfriend.
Common law wife.
the mother of his children.
Right.
Right.
Good enough. It'd be
Sophie.
good to see those
She
guys.
also was an interesting person to have on.
Yeah, she was opinionated.
I think I saw her. Was it once or twice that we had her on?
Oh, definitely. Well, and even at that time, it would have been sort of when obviously those guys were doing the proper prohibition pub, like
Or the trigger warning show.
or the Trigger Warning show, right?
I guess those shows are just not coming back.
He
I don't see them doing one for 10 people.
the
Which is
trigger
what it would
warning
be.
Patreon was deleted, so he's not asking for any money or anything. So
Right, and I think alt feed is gone.
did he close the website?
I believe so.
I have it on my bookmark. Let me see.
If
Because
click
you were
on
able
it-
to. I think that was the one where you could upload video to. Because I used it to upload videos and
Yeah, you
share
did.
them on.
Yeah, I think alt feed's gone, but he's still,
Oh yeah, 404 page not found.
yeah.
Mine
It's gone.
Is
what
his,
was it .com? Mine says dog food, care, and pets.
Let me click on it again.
What's the
Is-
website called?
alt feed.
Altfeed.
.com?
It's altfeed. No, .org.
.org. Okay.
.org.
Is that the forum website that he built?
Right. Basically, yeah.
Well, there was the other one that
The
Item-
trigger. There was a trigger warning one. Right?
Item Fix is doing very well.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's-
I haven't checked it out in a while, but it was doing. It seemed like the view count on the front
Same.
page videos was pretty up there.
Yeah, that was. I
It's
find it
still
amazing
rolling.
because it's so much like Lively. It's just
It's sort of a muted version of Lively.
exactly.
Is there a community like
I don't know. I
Don't know.
like is there? Because the one time I went there, which was God, it's already been a couple years ago probably. That one black guy that was uploading, it was like the last person that was uploading your says he was
Whoa.
on the item. Oh, the African American, sorry. He was, I can't think of his name, but I'm sure if you guys saw him, you would recognize. Like a younger guy, he always had like,
Not gonna
he
guess.
would just get just trashed on there when it was live leak, but it didn't seem to phase him at all. He'd always upload
Huh.
more stuff, but it was like he would dress like a pimp. You guys don't remember this guy that I'm talking
Oh, yeah,
about?
I
He
do.
was like he was like the last guy that was
I do
well, and
remember him.
there was also the Speak Italy guy.
I
That
remember
guy,
him.
Italy, yeah,
both
yeah.
those two were the only people that
I
were
do
still
remember
uploading.
that black guy, and he had his lady on for
Whoa,
some,
African American.
and then he was just him. It seemed like he was with a woman, and then all of a sudden she hit split, and it was just him.
And he lived in like the hood of Detroit or something, I think it was.
you can say black now. It's so long as you capitalize it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, cool.
Yeah, and Speak Italy, of course. Great. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you totally jogging memories here.
Speak Italy.
Yeah, very good.
Speak Italy of the dead.
He was okay. Also, his wife would occasionally show up in the background of his videos looking somewhat annoyed, remember that?
Yeah, they had a really tiny kitchen from what I remember, and their refrigerator was really small too.
Yeah.
But I think that's how other countries are,
Yeah, and this guy's
They don't eat as much food as we do in the U.S.
I guess.
cup of tea's talking about the black dude. And,
Yeah, I know.
He had a
Oh
large,
yeah, it's, cup of tea. I always do. Bring it.
He's
Yeah.
right. No, though, she was not a slight of figure.
Oh, African Americans do tend to prefer the.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, watch
T-
out, watch out.
THICC, right?
Yeah.
Thick with
I
two
like the
C's.
Thick.
They're like the thick white girl.
Oh, my God.
They like.
What's wrong with that?
And what do we call such a woman?
Is it
Something about a fish of some kind
a fish?
and mud. I can't remember the.
Oh, no, you don't want to go there. Don't go there.
I haven't gone there yet.
You started to with that one word. Don't say the second
I'm just
word.
putting my toe in the ocean. I'm not going.
Aboard.
I'm not going to see if there's really such an animal.
Waking off the limb.
Wave off.
I needed 50 years.
That reminds me of this
Off the rails.
Flight last
Sticker,
dance. Go around.
the sticker on this guy had this raised up truck in my area, and it said, "Raise them up, boys. Fat girls can't climb."
Surprised nobody threw that into the chat. But,
What's that?
nothing.
Oh.
Shall we continue on?
I'm happy to continue on, but if you're anytime you're ready to go, I'm not. I won't be angry.
You don't need to ask us anything. It's your
I'm
show.
getting pretty tired.
Yeah, you got 5 hours on us, so you got a good excuse. Well, if you're getting ready to go, I'll just say it was great talking to you again, and you looking great, Biscuit, making me happy.
Yeah, how much did I don't know if you updated. What's your weight loss at?
8
14
8 stone.
8
And
stone.
how many pounds is that?
14 pounds per stone.
112.
Man, that's like almost me. You've lost almost me.
Boy, you must be happy thinking about it that way.
that puts it into perspective, don't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, Louise, that's good for you though.
Another 112. I'll be super happy.
Are you exercising and getting out there and stuff? And
No exercise,
Yeah.
just
Not
800 calories a day.
do you notice just getting up from a couch? You probably notice a huge
So
difference.
much easier.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Wow, I can only
I
imagine.
I can stand 10 times longer. I can walk 100 times further. I'm up in the kitchen. I've got all my pots clean, all my kitchen clean, my living room's clean.
What brought that on, Cup of Tea? We're talking to. I don't know where that came from.
I suppose that's technically exercise, just getting up and doing some housework and stuff.
Yeah,
compared to what I used to do. So
Everything helps.
yep.
Just getting up.
Just move.
And I'm cooking more rather than I don't get takeaways anymore. I cook chicken, fish, all sorts.
That's great.
Good
I
man.
made some gorgeous peri peri chicken breast for my dinner today.
Well, that's Indian, right?
No, it's Jamaican.
Is it Jamaican? I thought it
What's
was.
it got? Nutmeg or some shit in it?
Possibly got nutmeg. It's
Ooh, yeah, I can't do that on my chicken.
it's like a spicy, like just like a powder rub that you put all over the chicken.
Oh,
Nutmeg?
I see. Cup of Tea.
No, it's got all sorts of spices and herbs in it. It's just like a
Like it could be in the star anise, the
Cup of
nutmeg.
Tea has a point. If he can hang out, we could. And it's 5 hours later. We
I'll
have no
stay.
excuse. We have no
I'll stay.
excuse.
I just took a sip directly from the bottle, and now I realize why I mix it with water. Jesus, that was hot. Fuck, man. That's not for me.
You took it from the rum,
Yeah, straight
the
up.
Bacardi, 8-year aged.
Yeah. Let me get the readers.
Get those cheaters on.
Yeah, you remember that from my buddy? That's awesome, dude.
What?
My buddy,
No,
my buddy, who's like a very smart guy, thought that readers were cheaters. He's always
they call them cheaters over here. That's why I said that.
Oh, they do. So he was
Uh-huh.
right.
Oh yeah, they call them cheaters.
It does not topple. It does not run better.
Because
without
when
you.
I corrected him, I was like, dumbass, it's readers, not cheaters. And he's like, in my mind, somewhere I found it as cheaters. And I was like, nope, nobody on the planet calls them cheaters.
I never heard it called
That's-
that.
That's not true here in the Midwest. They
was
definitely,
I
some
Grew up
people
in the
definitely
Midwest,
call them
and I never
cheaters.
heard it called that.
Well,
Plus,
here in
maybe-
St. Louis, then.
Maybe I'm not very observant.
Well, plus, I mean, when you lived in the Midwest, you didn't have them, so
Well,
Yeah,
he's
we
got a
didn't-
lot of
it wouldn't have been. It would have
They
been a
didn't-
top of.
They hadn't invented glass yet, so we didn't.
Well,
have
no,
it.
that's not what I meant. I meant you weren't old enough to probably wear them.
Right.
No, I wasn't.
He's got a lot of Pollock in him, and there's a lot of Pollocks out there.
That's true.
Is it? Do you got a lot of Pollock in you?
We
Oh,
don't
my
use that
father-
word, but I do
How
have
many-
my grandfather. One of my grandfathers was supposedly Polish, although when I look at my
He's a Pollock?
oh, my surname is Polish.
You gotta. Do you
yes,
gotta
that's
get?
true.
peop-
You have a Polish name.
Do you have to have people come over to your house and turn the chair to change that light bulb?
Well, no, that didn't happen. I guess it didn't take with me personally, or my mom. But
Oh, speaking of Jews,
Oh,
my
yeah.
we weren't.
my Jew customer, which is one of my best. Well,
Jewish customer.
Is it wrong? Is it? Am I not supposed to call him a Jew?
You sound like Trump
It's not-
when he said, "Look at my African."
Because he says
American."
Jew. He says Jew all the time. He says
You're
it's
a
common
Jew?
that he says Jew
You can-
when he's
I-
referring to.
Is this thing
Jewish.
on?
It didn't used to be, but it sometime it began to be used as an epithet.
Which side note, he did say yesterday. He came in when me and my wife were eating lunch, and he said that I guess the Yiddish word for black is like I can't
Schwarzer.
remember. It's Schwarza. Okay.
Schwarzer.
And I guess he grew up in New York, like kind of by
Okay,
The
so
real
let us
Jewish.
just remember that is. Let's try not to say that word again.
Okay, we won't say it. But anyway, he said it. But I mean, it is the term for the color black, not
If
just
you
a
look,
black
you look
person.
at the German word for black, it's close to that
Right.
for the color.
So he said that when he first came to St. Louis and he was with all his family that was already planted here, they were at a restaurant in the city, and he referred to a black person as that, not thinking it was degrading in any way. And
Did he
was
say,
they
Oy
said
vey,
they
a
all,
Schwarzer.
yeah, he said that they all dropped their silverware, and we're like, well, actually, his real name is Moshe, but he goes by Mark here now.
Moshe.
But anyway,
Usual
Moshe.
Moshe.
Oh, Moshe.
Yeah,
Well,
Anyway,
he pronounces it the way he wants.
right.
Okay.
So
Moshe
anyway,
is Hebrew for Moses.
and now I lost track of what I brought him up for because
He said
there was-
Schwarza, and they dropped their silverware. That was
No,
the,
I know, but there was some other because it was before that. It reminded me of that yesterday.
You're saying I should shut up? or
Oh,
should
I know. No, what it was he was telling me that when he goes to certain places here in Missouri, he puts a baseball cap over his yarmulke because he's an Orthodox, so he always wears his yarmulke. And
Why?
there was some other reason why I was bringing that up, but
Does
he
he-
was.
Does people harass him if he's...
He said that he's never really noticed it for himself, but he feels uncomfortable being around certain people with it on.
I get it.
Hey, last
And I
dance.
never.
Can you put on your yarmulke, please?
I don't have one.
What?
I don't
What
have
kind of a
one.
Jew are you, man?
The
Come
kind
on.
that's not observant.
Damn it.
The kind
Well,
that got bar mitzvah.
you said you're atheist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm an atheist.
Haven't you got any paper plates, Last Dance?
I got paper plates. I'm not putting one on my head for you.
I mean, that would be gold if you did.
Oh, I thought he meant to save a buck. Do you use only paper plates?
Not bad, not bad. I'm gonna double one there. I love it. No yarmulke. That's all right. I don't have a rosary, so hey.
I guess I don't either. I still. What is it when you not confirmation? What is it when you go accept the
Eucharist.
bread or whatever? The Eucharist. I still do that at certain events or Easter
will
if I make it
accept
there.
But you don't know what it's called.
I do. You know, I always forget what you're supposed to say too. So I always got to pay attention to the guy in front of me. I'm like,
The
okay, what do
body
you
of
say when-
Christ. Isn't that it?
Hey,
I know,
Amen.
but you
Amen.
say
It's
something.
one
It's
word.
just amen. Okay.
Yes.
Give me the wine, damn it!
I mean, dude,
No, I've never done the wine. I've never.
Yeah.
I always thought it was gross, even when I was a kid. I was like, I don't want to have them.
Blood of Christ. Ew!
I mean, because they would just take a little towel and do one quick wipe over and give it to the next
Yeah.
guy. I'm like, I don't want any of that.
Here's a
you're,
little tip for you.
you're a germophile, aren't you?
The Eucharist isn't doing anything.
You and Trump have that in common.
There's no benefit from the Eucharist. It just is a totally inane, random act.
They're all symbolic. It gets you...
The only thing that is going to find you peace is if you find and have a real connection with what you think might be God in a quiet time. In my opinion, it's just my opinion.
That's kind of how I feel too. Because I wouldn't call myself an atheist by any stretch.
right. People who go there and
I'm not willing to take that step.
You're not going to close that door completely,
No,
are you?
no.
Right. Yeah, and an Irishman told me when I was explaining this to him over a couple of drinks of Jameson a few years back. He said, "On your fucking deathbed, Steve, you'll be fucking calling for Jesus." And I was
Right.
like, "No, I won't. I'll be closing my eyes and trying to find peace, and that's
right.
it. You know, It's not that. It's sort of a cushion for people to think there might be something there, but
Well, just the
it's not.
fear of nothingness for eternity is almost unimaginable.
Right?
No, it's not.
Religion's a better deal.
No,
It
it's
is.
not. How is
Yeah,
it?
it is.
No.
To when you close those eyes for the last time, that there's nothing forever.
There won't be
I
nothing.
mean, that is something I just am not.
You're not.
I just don't want to think about.
You're not
I
going to be
think that-
conscious. You're going to be at rest
Well, you ain't
forever.
gonna have consciousness.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what-
Well, there's still. I mean,
that's better than an eternity of consciousness.
I mean, this is what I think. Eternity of nothingness is the scariest thing. The second scariest thing is eternal life, without rest.
I don't know. Like if I got life in prison or something, I wouldn't commit suicide. Still, I'd rather live in prison and be alive than be dead and not have nothing.
What's scary?
Easy to say as a person not in prison.
Well, that's true.
What's scarier? Just when you're dead, there's nothing, or when you're dead, you get fucking judged by some prick who's supposedly made you.
Well, I'd like to think he wasn't a prick. And
Well,
judge me on the rights and wrongs I did as a
Of course,
human.
there's a prick if he allows people like Putin to live, but kills all those starving kids in Africa.
Well, that's not a prick. They have eternal life. The fraction of time they were starving is infinitesimal.
Putin's just a test for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Now, I think what my wife is talking about here would be called an agnostic, one who believes in something, but doesn't necessarily put an organized religion to it.
Right. I'm definitely not an organized religion type.
So you could be agnostic.
Yes.
Well, there's the different flavors. There's something called a theist, which is something similar to what you're saying. I'm actually not an expert on these things, so if you tell me, yeah.
Wow, for once.
I'll be an expert next week, though.
Well, and I'm not just, if I don't believe in reincarnation per se, but to think that, there's not
They make
so
great
many
hot chocolate.
to think that there's not so many souls in the whole universe.
The very fact that life is finite is what makes life so beautiful. You've got to live in the now and enjoy what we have.
Well,
That's a good point.
I do that as well.
Living in the now is important.
Like I
this,
used to tell my old buddy, fried chicken, every breath is a gift.
I learned that Friday evening. It turned out, I found out on the internet that there was a huge blitz of fish happening at a beach nearby here. I went there, and apparently every fucking fisherman around had found this. When I got there, the parking lot was jammed. I had installed a fucking mosaic floor on Friday. I was at the end of my day. I couldn't do it to walk and blah, blah, blah. And then I found out the next day I had missed a huge blitz. So, living in the moment, I should have gone through the bullshit of parking and walking and fishing shoulder to shoulder with people. But, sometimes life gets in the way, so
I
it's
always
not that
thought
easy.
I've done that, Steve. It's no fun.
I always thought fishing was something that you do solitary just to get out of your head and have a bit of quiet time.
Exactly. That's fun. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, but 20 fish in 2 hours.
I know,
is what
but
one guy told me.
That's just a hectic thing. If you want to go fishing, you want to go just to chill
Trust.
out and have
Yeah, I know.
have a relax.
I don't know
This-
if you've ever heard of doing a kind of fishing called snagging.
Yeah, of course. I'm a great snagger. I snag the fuck out of fish.
I've always wanted to try my hand at cast netting.
Yeah, we snag bait up here. We got these weighted treble hooks that have a lead weight in the middle with 3 spiky fucking hooks coming off the sides. You cast them into the middle of bait and you snag them, which means you impale them on the hook, bring them back,
Yes.
throw them
I
on another
did-
hook, and throw them out, catch
I
big
did
fish.
that accidentally with a roach once. I cast my line out and I was reeling it back in because I didn't think it had gone far enough. And I ended up catching a roach on its gill.
What's a
What's
roach?
a roach?
It's a
Come
silver.
on, Smokesteve. I'm sure you got 3 or 4 of them sitting on your table right there.
Yeah, dude, that's the only roach I know.
It's about a foot long silver fish with orange fins.
Oh
and-
yeah, I think we would call that a shiner, Steve.
Okay.
Something like a shiner. Yeah.
They're a freshwater. They live in canals and rivers.
No, that wouldn't be really a shiner. Shiner's a general term, but close enough. We'll go with shiner.
Yeah.
I thought
So-
shiner's what you give that girl after she don't give you a blowjob.
They don't-
Oh, oh just kidding.
There's only a few species that I've ever caught, and it's roach, gudgeon, perch, and bream.
Bream. Yep.
Breen?
Bream is the one that kind of looks like halfway between an eel and a fish, right?
No, it's
I
a
think
really
we-
big. It's a really big, fat, like almost round shaped fish.
Body.
It's like a ocean, like a saltwater sunfish. I think is what.
We don't
But
have them here.
These are all freshwater.
Oh, well, then
Uh,
maybe it's like a bluegill. We would have a bluegill here. Or a,
Bream? That sounds good. Sunfish.
The-
We
bluegill.
get lots of bluegill.
Have you ever heard of what's known as a trench fish as well?
Trench. Negative.
Nope.
It's like a long, slender, but it lives in like the reeds and the like,
No.
and
Sounds
it's
like a-
really it's slimy as fuck when you try and hold it. It just oozes slime out of its body.
Well, I
Sounds
know
like a-
you guys have mackerel.
That's a
Holy
that's a
mackerel.
coast fish. I only fish inland.
You've never jigged for mackerel? Thrown a jig
Uh,
out? A baby jig?
I've fished with mackerel in Whitby once.
Okay,
That was
okay.
my favorite fishing lure.
I just
Mackerel.
I basically bought a
Jig.
frozen mackerel, and by the time I
Jig.
got to fishing, we just put chunks of it on hook and threw it out into the sea. Caught mostly crab with it.
That it will happen.
In Chicago, when the salmon return to spawn, a lot of them in Chicago come back into the harbors where they were released from, and it's not like a river. It ends, after only quarter mile, and in that season, thousands of fishermen come, and I was one of them. Coat the banks from one end to the other, standing man to man, and go casting out, snagging, and it's just it's horrendous.
Yeah, shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder. Most of the time you hook somebody's hook who's doing the same thing from the other side of the
Cast
harbor.
over. Yeah, right. It sucks. That's not my style of fishing, but
No.
I did miss it Friday evening. I could have
Yeah.
gotten slammed, but
It's
were they stripers that were running?
yeah.
Big school, huh?
I normally go pole fishing. It's a lot simpler. You just have a line, a pole float, and just a couple of weights and a hook. That's it.
Just hang around and watch the tip of the rod, right?
No, you watch the little float bobbing in the.
Or you
in-
watch a float.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's easy. It's easy because you just get like a rig that's already made, and you can just slide the float up and down depending on the depth.
Sure. Makes sense. Yeah, that's.
what happened to Topple? He was in here and he was gone.
I don't know.
We didn't say we loved him enough.
Apparently, he wasn't feeling the love.
Having issues with his internet or his
Maybe.
audio. I'm not sure. It was dark. Maybe his light wasn't working. Who knows?
Nope.
Legal to shoot seagulls inland and elsewhere? No. Can't shoot seagulls in the United States.
He says it should be legal
It should be.
because he thinks they're just like pigeons, which they do seem to have that kind of.
They can be vicious on our coast.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give him Alka-Seltzer.
They poked an eye out of one of Marty's friends.
Yeah, one of the guy based Welshman's buddies.
Oh, it was Base Welshman's buddy.
Up there is.
Yeah.
Wait, everybody say hello and welcome to
Hi.
Topple before he leaves
Hi,
because
buddy.
he thinks he's not wanted.
Can
Gotta
you
stroke
hear
his-
me?
Hey, we can
Yeah,
hear you.
we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Loud and clear, buddy.
I won't yell then. Sorry.
Yeah, you're clear.
No, I had mic issues earlier, so I said
Okay.
fuck it, and here I am. I thought you guys be off by now.
Wow, Paul
Getting
Greystone
there.
getting poetic there.
What?
We're getting there. Paul Greystone, feature the comment.
The mind thinks as the hand grabs, the brain reacts. If your hand is in the fire, you don't think that's hot. I must pull my hand out. Your brain reacts and pulls out the hand instantly.
Not bad.
Wow.
Not
So what
sure
did I
what
miss?
that's about.
Did I miss all the
Everything.
good times?
We first solved the Ukraine crisis, then we moved on to
Well,
other
McGrady didn't solve that. I hope.
crises.
No, I think
we
it was
worked
him.
out an agreement.
I think McGrande was actually the one that came up with the right answer for
Well,
the whole
Really?
world to agree with.
What?
That's
put
the way I
Trump-
saw it.
He said put Trump in office.
No, actually, I wasn't too interested in the whole
no.
Ukraine
Grande
talk.
says we've got better nukes than the Russians, so we should use them.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Did he say that?
It was
Pretty
me.
much.
I
No, it was
said it.
Biscuit
I
Dates,
said
too.
that. I said
I
that.
might be paraphrasing a little bit.
I said that we've got, well, that Russia's
got-
technology is not as good as they say it is.
But
And
you
McGrande
understand they
agreed.
have nukes, right?
Yeah, they have nukes, but
And
how
And
How-
what's the first thing that's going to happen if we go and we have a war with Russia? Who's going to join Russia?
Belarus,
Oh no,
China.
China.
Not China.
I don't know. I don't think
No,
China's going
not
to join
China.
him.
China's worth a little more than Belarus, I would say.
You don't think China's? You don't think China
No
would join?
way.
No,
Oh, no.
China's not going to go against the rest of the world with Russia.
They don't want that shit.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
China's running a
I don't know if China would go with anybody, but it's certainly going to be Russia.
very lucrative.
I agree
industry
with
they
you,
have
Aphid.
going.
They're not going with anybody.
I mean, why would they? The lucrative industries they have going there in China, and
Right.
the state is connected to all of them. There'd be no reason for them to fuck this thing up.
Well,
they're-
Yeah.
The first warning you need to see is if we lose Turkey to NATO. That's the number, or is it Turkey? Yeah, Turkey.
Lose it to NATO? What does that mean?
They already
No,
have.
No, no, no,
They're
no.
already part of it.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. Fucked up talking tonight. Sorry. Drank a little bit.
You mean if they stop NATO being a
No. If Turkey leaves NATO, I should have just said that.
Yeah,
It'd be a lot
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
easier.
I think NATO would kick Turkey out before Turkey would leave NATO.
No,
That's just
they
my
need
guess.
Turkey. They need. Oh, unless the Ukraine.
Well, he said
joins.
before they leave, because both need each other. There's been a lot of tension, you know. But they've stayed in, and NATO hasn't kicked them out.
Mhm. Well, they need their bases there. That's why.
I think Turkey, they're pretty smart about the whole thing. They know they're needed, and they also know that they need NATO. They have reasons to fear Russia, from a geopolitical and a strategic
Oh, yeah.
point of view. Russia probably covets the Turkey.
What's going on here?
So John Romaticus, his perception of Matt Grandy was he wants to nuke 70% of the planet.
No, that's not McGrande.
No,
He just seems a little reckless about the whole, the whole nuclear. In my opinion,
when you say he, you mean McGrandy.
McGrande, yes.
Yes.
I think the war seems to be going perfect. I mean, I don't think we could have asked for anything better at this point in time.
Except for all the
when
tens
you
of
say
thousands of
we,
people
what do you
dying.
mean by we?
Well,
Us
it's just
people who aren't
the
involved?
world. Well, yeah, everybody
It could
besides
be going,
Russia.
It could be worse, that's for sure.
Yes, I'll agree with. I don't think it's. I think it's a sad time.
It's hell on earth over there.
I mean,
That's-
if Russia was actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Competent,
Hmm?
then it could have been worse.
They are competent. It's just that we're better,
They're not-
we're more competent,
Yeah,
and we're the
yeah.
ones supplying the weapons to Ukraine.
I mean, what I don't get is why are they hog tying civilians up and just murdering them in
Because they're angry and they don't care. Some troops are like that. I'm afraid, there's troops are like that everywhere in the world, and sadly, we have certainly had our fair share of U.S. troops and other countries, NATO, that have committed atrocities
is it just
and
because
gotten away with it.
is it because they are Ukrainian? They don't want Russia there, and because they've said no to the soldiers, that's why they got murdered. Do you think?
Soldiers, just the normal killing they do for some turns them into murderers. They become, and they can't stop. They get a taste for it.
Or maybe it was part of this referendum thing: kill all the Ukrainian, pro.
Depopulate the
Ukrainian-speaking population in that area, so that they can get a legitimate referendum.
There may be some who believe that and are doing it for that reason. The information is so fragmentary that you can never trust exactly what's happening.
Exactly.
But in any war, there will be atrocities, and you can be sure that the Ukrainians have committed atrocities against Russians. And,
I don't doubt that the Russian-speaking Ukrainian population weren't. I don't doubt that they was treated badly in the years prior.
Yeah, a lot of hardship on them, but
yeah.
But that doesn't mean you should ever accept it. I hate the people who say, "Well, that's war." No, that's never acceptable. That's why we have war crimes and laws of war.
I wonder if is it Crimea? I wonder if the people in Crimea are happy that they're occupied by Russia.
Yeah, there's no way because you can't do. There's no way to know because you can't do an honest poll when there's basically it's a military occupied country by a particularly authoritarian country government. I mean that is Russia.
I mean, was Crimea majority Russian speaking?
I think so.
Well, I think we're getting close here, guys.
Okay.
All right.
You're the man.
All right, Smokesteve.
I mean, I could leave it going.
No, I mean, I'm ready.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Just take charge of the situation. Be like, look, I'm leaving, assholes.
No, I mean,
this is my show.
He's too polite. But that's what he's saying.
I have a mod here. I still have Last Dance. He's a mod. I could make you other guys mods.
But I can't turn it off though.
This is true. I'd have to set an alarm to come back to turn it off.
I'm gonna go.
Just turn it off. Turn it off.
All right.
Yeah, I'm leaving too.
I've
had enough
time.
of this.
As always, Smokesteve do a great show, and
absolutely.
As riveting as the conversation is, I think I need to go to bed.
All right, perfect.
Great talking
Cheers,
to you,
guys.
Lip, as always. Take care.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
We'll see you.
All right.
See you later, everyone.
Bye, dude.
Click me out. I can't do it.
See you, man. Well, that's all she wrote this week at the pub. We're going to search around the internet for some fun stuff now. Enjoy it yourself. But if you were here, thank you for being here, everybody. And if you watch it in the future and you make it to this point, God love you. And thanks for watching my video. Take care. Good night.